Priority One is open late.
Winter in the end of 2015 is just around the corner. Now's the time to call Priority One to get that new Carrier heat pump unit and save big. Get your rebates and tax credits before they're gone.
Get manufacturer's rebates or receive up to $1,250 in state tax credits by calling Priority One now.
Priority One, heating.com. Keeping you in comfort, that's Priority One.
The holiday auction is just around the corner. Saturday, December 5th, will feature terrific items from the best of our local retailers, including a heat pump system from Priority One, golf from Sandpines, fishing rods and reels from Mazama Sporting Goods. Tune in to KPNW or Cool 99 Saturday, December 5th, starting at 8 a.m.
17 years ago, when I decided to become a mentor, that I was assigned to Christina. When she was in the first grade, she was a shy little girl, not able to smile much.
Elaine showed there were people out there to help me and guide me through life. When Elaine let me read her diary, I didn't even realize how important I was to her. And now that I'm mentoring, I feel that importance, and I can spread those same values to the girls I mentor.
Be someone who matters to someone who matters.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. Find the right seat for your little one's age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat for more information. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
With our eye on the stock tickers, this is the Wake Up Call Business Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Shares of Pfizer are down 2% in pre-market trading. Allergan is down 0.75 percentage point with news that they've agreed to combine in a record drug industry deal valued at around $160 billion. The deal is structured so that the smaller Ireland-based Allergan would be buying the larger Pfizer. This would make it easier for the combined entity to be located in Ireland for lower tax purposes, a controversial approach called inversion. The nation's largest chicken processor misses analyst profit estimates in the latest quarter. Tyson Foods took a hit as prices for both breast meat and leg meat fell amid abundant supply. McDonald's is making changes at the drive-thru to make sure it gets your order right. It's urging restaurants to implement an approach dubbed Ask, Tell, which provides 3 chances to check your order. Today we're watching for the October look at existing home sales. Stock index futures are little changed. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Wayne County.
Basically what we're doing is using our land use law. As you're running again, pay attention to all of your voters.
And the nation. Holloway in London. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
(1120) KPNW. 6:30 exactly on Monday. A little bit of fog depending upon where you're at, to a lot of fog. A dense fog advisory out there till 9 o'clock in the morning. So I-5 mystery fog the whole way.
No, not the whole way, but off and on. So yeah, there is heavy fog out there. I fully expect freezing fog at one point or another. I didn't encounter any on the way into work, even though there was quite a bit of fog in the Corvallis area, a little less so in Albany, and then just kind of up and down I-5. Didn't encounter any freezing fog, but like I said, it's cold. I expect it. So just be careful out there.
Would be incredible to not have any snafus or traffic problems this whole week. A lot of people are going to be on the roadways, going to be very, very slick, and if we talk about that freezing fog, nothing to play around with. Well, Europe got a #1 song from their exposure they got with the Geico commercial. This song never hit #1 as a top 40 jock that played this back in the day. It was a huge hit, but never #1. Now, thanks to the Geico exposure. And I wonder if there was ever any discussion like, here they are, kind of has been one hit, 2-hit wonders. Did any of the band members go, they probably wanted the cash, but was there any pride involved? Well, now they've hit #1 on a top commercials chart. Not the singles chart. This is what we are now into with society, but it monitors streams, downloads, Shazam tags, which is basically when people, want to know the name of a song, they put their smartphone up there and they can figure it out. Still blows me away. But this is number one. So any lessons, if there's any one-hit wonders out there that, are going to be approached, or maybe you can approach somebody with a song from yesteryear, not only we get a nice Geico paycheck, but you potentially could get some more exposure, and who knows, maybe people are buying Europe all over again.
Yeah, you could be out there playing county fairs and stuff.
Well, I'm sure they're already doing that.
Yeah. Really? You think they're big enough to be playing county fairs?
Europe?
Yeah. Seriously?
Yeah. I would think so. I don't know about state fairs, but
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
No, absolutely. KPNW, good morning.
Good morning. The very first concert that I ever took my son to was to see Europe at the Holt Center.
At the Holt Center? And,
yeah.
And how were they?
Well, for him, it was terrific. For me, it was so boring.
Who opened? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Do they have one?
But I remember them because it alerted me that my son was finally listening to music. So.
How old was he?
Oh, my guess is probably about 8 or 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
cool, Dad. Way to go. Way to go. Way to take your son to a concert. That's awesome.
All right, what was the first movie you took him to a movie theater to see?
Oh, boy. We went to movies when he was really young. He probably wouldn't even remember half the ones I took him to. Because I used to go to Springfield where they used to have $1 movie on Friday nights and stuff.
Was that the one was it on Main Street?
Yeah, Main Street.
Yeah. Very cool. Hey, thanks for reminiscing.
Happy Turkey Day.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you too. That's awesome.
Europe was at the Holt Center. Live and learn.
By the way, I potentially... That might have been KSND days.
I was going to say, did you give tickets away for it?
Probably so.
Yeah.
Number one, I never thought... did I ever think I'd see this? Justin Bieber has the number one record. I sound like 100 years old. Number one, 649,000 to One Direction's 459. Nobody over the age of 14 is buying music anymore. All right, 6:34, and we'll just kind of throw this out there, although we're not prompting or trying to create anything, but if you do see anything that we don't see, traffic-wise, Road Ranger, maybe? 541-485 KPNW, 1-888 KPNW 888. That's a story with the Lane County deputy, just awful. And it's, I don't know, in the last, say, 4 to 5 days, I've almost hit, and I wouldn't say, wasn't anywhere close, but I've seen a pedestrian walk, across 99 with nothing. No, I mean, it was, completely dark out. And then a bicyclist who didn't have any, I don't think had any reflective, darn near, no lights. And the thing that gets me, and hopefully maybe they look a little bit more, I still see more and more people just as they're walking, don't even look over their left shoulder to see if, a car or right shoulder, depending upon what the intersection is. But don't make any eye contact and just trust that, the car's going to stop. I know, as we get more numb and incoherent and with our nose into a, smartphone or something, people are very trusting, and I think, you're trusting that the person behind the wheel isn't checking out a smartphone.
Or just that they're just going to see you in general. It doesn't make any difference whether they're on a smartphone or not. It's easy to just not see somebody, particularly if it's at night.
At night.
Yeah, on a bike, dark clothing, you're over the security line and you have no reflectors. You literally are invisible at that point. It's crazy. It's sad, but still. Take a little responsibility.
Coming, I'm going to talk with a terror analyst. Her book is called Funding Evil, How Terrorism is Funded and How to Stop It. I'm going to talk to Dr. Rachel, and then kind of an overview over the show. The annual visit from the Springfield High School. Going to come in and serenade you with Civil War fight songs. We'll call it the Civil War Fight Song Fest. So if you're an Oregon State fan, you can have all your Oregon fans and or Oregon State fans rejoice and just feel all good inside with the Oregon State fight song, and vice versa. Civil War, by the way, Friday, Black Friday, 1 o'clock.
And after Saturday's game, you might want to ask if they can sing it in a minor key when it comes to the Beaver fight song.
Could be...
Well, the Ducks are, what, a 33-point favorite?
Yeah.
Something like that, 32, 33 points.
Does it really matter?
No, it's going to hurt.
And
this whole season for the Beavers, I'm sorry. If you are a longtime Beaver fan, you have to be sitting there just shaking your head and going, oh, my God, it's Joe Avezzano all over again. Where you would win the first 2 games of the season against lesser teams, and then you just get your ass kicked for the rest of the season by the, your at the time Pac-10, now Pac-12.
I think the caveat, though, I mean, the light at the end of the tunnel is that they got some good signees. I mean, you have a new coach, and so if you can just kind of think about the future, you might not be as grim. KPNW, good morning.
Good morning. You know where Oregon Jam was held? Oregon Jam 1.
Autzen.
Wasn't Oregon Jam 1 actually held at the Oregon State Fairgrounds? I thought 2 was...
No, it was Autzen.
Okay, was that the one with Joan Jett and Triumph and...
That's Oregon Jam 2.
Okay.
Look at him.
This one came out with the Outlaws, Eddie Money, then Santana, and then the Grateful Dead.
So was Loverboy, when was Loverboy and Journey? 3?
That was up at Oregon State.
No, because I sold Cokes at it. It was here.
Key Radio and Cash Radio and the old K's out before they sold out. There's a bunch of crazy dudes up there. But no, anybody in Outlaws, Santana, Grateful Dead, those 3. But when they played Black Magic Woman, oh God, all the bands got involved, and then they did the drumming type solo. I mean, gosh, that was totally amazing.
So just for the record, so people are following along, Europe was not there. You're just reminiscing about old shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. No, actually, this Oregon Jam 1 that happened there, and I was only like 16. I took a girl that was 18, and it was great.
Awesome. Thanks for calling, man.
2 great calls. You bring up Europe?
Yeah.
Phone generator. 640. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
A great project on your to-do list? Now during Kubota's Power to Do Great Things sales event, get a great deal on a tractor you'll be proud to own. A powerful, easy-to-drive BX70 series tractor. Now get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years. And great customer instant rebates when you buy a new BX70 and 2 implements. Now through December 31st, 2015, call toll-free 1-800-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. See Mid-Valley Tractor, locally owned for 30 years, just a mile and a half past the Beltline on Highway 99. Batteries Plus Bulbs has a message for anyone who breaks their smartphone, tablet, or other device. They fix them. Plus, they perform the service with a quick turnaround. Visit Batteries Plus Bulbs in Eugene and now open in Corvallis on 9th Street next to the grocery outlet.
For over 35 holidays, Sherry's has been making award-winning pies for Northwest families. Wrapped in their red and green boxes, Sherry's pies put a delicious exclamation point on your family's holiday meals. Because memorable holiday feasts get that way with freshly baked berry and pumpkin pies. They're also a great way to take folks' minds off the boss's flashing red tie at your office party. Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Order your holiday pies at sherry's.com and take Sherry's Pies home for the holidays.
Mom calls us her VIPs. She says it stands for Very Important Passengers. So when my little bro and I ride in the car, we always ride in the back seat. Simon gets a special booster seat because he's still kind of short. And I'm right there next to him. Mom says it's because it's not safe up front till I'm 13 years old. She heard that if we got in a crash, I'm safer in the back seat by a whole 37%. That's her reason. But I like to pretend I'm a huge humongous rock star on my way to perform at a big concert. But instead of a minivan, I'm in a limo, and tons of fans are waiting for me, so I have to get there safely. There's a red carpet, and oh, Haley and Madison are my backup dancers. Mom even got me these rad sunglasses. Hey, a girl's got a dream, right? So parents, be like my mom and keep your kids safe in the back seat until they're 13. And buckle up, it's the way to go. A message from me and ODOT.
Ian Ralston was a combat medic who was injured in Iraq. When I met Ian, I knew we had to help him get his housing grant, an auto grant, and every benefit to live as normal a life as possible. My name is Jason Stevenson, and I work for Paralyzed Veterans of America.
PVA has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get the care and benefits they've earned, changing lives, building futures. To learn more, visit PVA.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
You would never forget your home address, would you? Well, no need to forget ours. Just lock it in at 1120 on your AM radio band. Depend on us. News Radio, 1120 KPNW. Your KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania, where the side effect of saving like crazy may cause excessive high-fiving and a permanent smile.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, it is cold. Temps right now in the upper 20s to low 30s. We did cross the freezing line last night. Now we've got patchy dense fog off and on across the valley, as well as partly cloudy skies, and we've got light winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, highs will only climb into the mid to upper 40s out there, with a high of 48 here in town. Partly cloudy skies in the afternoon become mostly cloudy this evening as a strong storm system and an Arctic cold front start to move into the area. We're going to see a 90% shot at showers after 8 p.m. Some of that could become a wintry mix into the early morning hours of tomorrow, but not expecting any real accumulation along the valley floor. The passes, though, are looking anywhere between 6 to 12 inches, so be cautious if you've got holiday travels ahead. Storm system pulls out, but it's going to be very cold as we approach Thanksgiving. The high on Thanksgiving looks to be 39. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
We'll do it live. The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London.
We'll do it live.
1120 KPNW.
This is boring as burnt toast.
643 News Radio 1120 KPNW. Well, in Mali today, they're beginning a 3-day mourning period with flags flying at half-staff for victims of that assault on a luxury hotel full of foreigners. And a day after a dueling claim of responsibility emerged as to who was responsible for those attacks. And in Europe, in Brussels, the capital of Belgium, is now in its 3rd day of a siege-like lockdown, with schools, shopping malls, public transit, grocery stores all closed as they sweep the area and make arrests in a counterterrorism operation where 21 people so far have been arrested. To talk a little bit about all of this morning, and it's Dr. Rachel Ehrenfeld. She's a terror analyst and a founder and CEO of the American Center for Democracy. She is the author of the book Funding Evil: How Terrorism is Financed and How to Stop It. Dr. Ehrenfeld, thanks for being with us on the Wake Up Call.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I guess the title of your book will be the start of the first question. So exactly how is terrorism financed?
How is terrorism financed? If you are speaking, well, we can talk about all of them. If you talk about ISIS, it's oil, it's shaking down the people who live there. It's the money from the banks and the gold that they found. It's selling antiquities, and everything is going through they are channeling everything through Turkey, our best ally. And the reasoning for this, allowing this to go on, was because this administration apparently had the idea that they really don't want the people there to starve, because, well, what will happen? What will happen? The people will try to shake off ISIS. That's what will happen. In other places, Boko Haram, it's smuggling of everything, it's pillaging, it's stealing, it's also illegal kidnapping for ransom. It's drug trafficking, people trafficking. The PLO actually has the best of it, and Hamas, because they are getting support from international organizations and also from USAID.
See, that's the amazing
there are
part.
many ways to fund this terrible phenomenon.
How is it that Hamas is able to get that kind of funding, even from USAID?
40%. First of all, UNRWA operates many things there, and they are paying the salaries of, for example, all the teachers, okay? And they have many teachers, even when they don't have any schools. UNRWA is paying for it. We are contributing to UNRWA, right? In elections for the union of the teachers, for example, in Gaza, 90% are all Hamas members, okay? You cannot actually get a job if you are not. The Palestinian Authority, Mr. Abbas, gets money, and they are giving officially 40% of that money to Hamas.
Wow.
Their enemy. So why are they doing it? Oh, because they have people who used to work for the PA at the time, and so they keep them on payroll in order to keep their loyalty. Well, those people are also getting money from Hamas directly.
All right.
So this is terrible, and this has been going on for decades, and it feeds them and it feeds their terrorism. And there, of course, there are other countries that support them. You have Iran that is supporting them. You have different Saudis who support them. They get money from everywhere.
I guess the question is, I mean, when you have such a vast array of ways that they're bringing in funds, whether it be pilfering banks or gold or selling oil, I would guess the biggest question is, well, okay, so how is anybody really going to stop that when, I mean, if you've got an illegal organization that has taken over the better part of a good country, I mean, that's going to be kind of hard to stop. They have multiple
Well, it's
ways
hard to, could have been easier to stop a year ago, but we are now. And I'm glad that the French went ahead and started bombing their oil convoys, the tankers, which were. How could Americans not see them? They were very clearly running hundreds of convoys of tankers, oil tankers, to the Turkish border. So I'm glad that now they are being bombed. And I only hope that the banks that do business with them will be also stopped, that they will not be able to transact any money, and there should be more scrutiny on what's happening in Turkey. Turkey is not our ally. If we talk about ISIS.
Do you expect, with the lessened presence of the U.S. in Afghanistan, I mean, one of the ways that the Taliban was funding itself was selling heroin.
Sure.
Is the expectation now that the U.S. presence there is lessened and is going to be close to non-existent, that we're going to see a situation where, once again, heroin is going to flood the market?
Oh, heroin is flooding the market now. I can hardly see how it can flood the market more. This is one big failure that happened really under the watch of the United States, of the United States and NATO in Afghanistan, because they have increased the production of heroin tremendously. The heroin consumption in the world had decreased terribly, and I cannot see how much cheaper it can be, how much more pure it can be made, and it is a very important source of funding for all terrorists. Cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines. We know that ISIS are using all kinds of amphetamines now in order to keep their people going and crazy. So, we know that the person, that the terrorist orchestrated the terrorist attack was smoking grass all the time. So go ahead, legalize more drugs. We are not in a good place. We really need to get back in some kind of a more not controlled, a more disciplined society, actually.
So do you think, okay, and just give a short answer to this, do you think that the U.S. or any other countries are really going to do anything at this point beyond what they've already done, which is not much, to attack these pipelines of funds for terrorist organizations?
No.
Okay. Well, that's as concise
not
as you
anytime
can get.
soon. Not at least until sometime after the election, hopefully.
All right. Doctor, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Rachel Ehrenfeld, author of Funding Evil, How Terrorism is Financed and How to Stop It. It's News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Hey, you asked for concise.
I asked for concise, and I got it.
I've never heard you direct somebody that you're talking to. By the way, just one short on this one. All right, go.
And I got exactly what I asked for.
Yeah.
It was like a cold slap in the face. Miss Icy Hands. Slap. No. Bam. Oh. Okay. Well, there you go. I would like to know where she's from. I was trying to pinpoint the accent, and I wasn't able to do it. Anyway, taking a look at traffic out there this morning. Really nothing to report bad other than it is really foggy. I mean, there's no doubt about that. There's a lot of fog out there in some areas. My expectation would be that we may even see a little bit of freezing fog this morning. Fortunately, as of yet, no reports of it. But just, the usual places, be careful. And I noticed that there had been no treating on the area off-ramps and overpasses, at least here in the Eugene area. So if there is going to be freezing fog, bridges usually where the stuff is the worst. So just know that's the case and take some extra care. What are you looking at?
Trying to find out where she was from.
Oh. Did you find it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So we'll hold you over. 6:54, hour number 2 coming up on 1120 KPNW.
Ramjack has your foundation solution. Ramjack can fix that.
CCB 146906.
Your plan is to make the most out of life. That's why your plan is a Medicare Advantage plan from Pacific Source. It lets you choose from almost any doctor in the region with no deductible. Plus, you get great benefits like prescription drug coverage, protection when you travel, optional dental care, and even discounts on gym memberships. Plans start as low as $39. Pacific Source Medicare, the health plan for all of life's biggest plans. To learn more about our Medicare Advantage plans, call toll-free 888-863-3637, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Visit us online at www.medicare.pacificsource.com. Premium and benefits may change on January 1st of each year. You must continue to pay your Medicare Part B premium. The provider network may change at any time. Members will receive notice when necessary. Pacific Source Community Health Plans is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Pacific Source Medicare depends on contract renewal.
Jim Olson with Olson's Auto Glass.
I'm the third generation to run the business, started in 1938 by my grandfather, Em Olson. What defines us, separates us, is I think the quality of our work. We strive for excellence in every car we do. We try to use the best quality products available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, all that sort of thing. We can do the glass in all of them. That's our main focus, is auto glass and safety of the vehicle. Our website is olsonsautoglass.com. Our address is 2041 West 7th Avenue. Phone number is 541-342-7773.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Do you have 30 minutes a week to make a difference in the life of a Eugene student? Join the Eugene Middle School Lunchtime Mentor Program. Be a friend. Support a middle schooler this year. Visit 4j.lane.edu/volunteers for more information.
It's your money. And this is your Wake Up Call Market Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed in early trading on this Monday, following Wall Street's best week of the year so far, and ahead of a week that is punctuated by the Thanksgiving holiday. Right now, the Dow is down about 18 points, or 0.1% at 17,805. The S&P 500 is down less than a point at 2088, and the Nasdaq is flat at 5105. Shares of Allergan and Pfizer are each lower by around 2% after the drug makers announced a $160 billion merger. The proposed transaction would be the biggest ever deal in the pharmaceutical industry. Crude oil is down about 0.8% at $41.53 a barrel this morning. Just as Black Friday deals have spread beyond the day after Thanksgiving, so-called Cyber Monday is seeing changes. Walmart plans to start offering its Cyber Monday deals starting at 8 p.m. the Sunday before. But Walmart and its rivals are increasingly spreading out discounts over a longer period of time. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
A little problema here, my friends. A group of Hispanic members of Congress met with NBC executives last week, try to patch up their relationship. The meeting was supposed to chill out any hard feelings the Hispanic lawmakers harbored over Trump's highly rated recent appearance on Saturday Night Live. But the meeting was a disaster. The first breakdown occurred when NBC News President Deborah Turness used a politically incorrect term. Boasting to the Latino lawmakers about Telemundo's coverage of the Pope's visit, she described his interaction with a young girl, afraid her parents would be deported because they're illegals. Representative Juan Vargas jumped in her chili. He says, I'm going to stop you right there. We use the term undocumented immigrants. Ms. Turness promptly apologized. Apparently, the NBC president didn't think her apology went far enough, so she tried pandering. She told the Hispanic lawmakers how much NBC loved the Hispanic community. And then to prove she was down with their struggle, she tried speaking a little Spanish. Yo hablo español, she said. Bad move. They were not impressed. And then when the topic turned to Trump, Turness told him that she couldn't respond because she handled news. Saturday Night Live is entertainment, and nobody from that division was at the meeting. The Hispanic congressional delegation left the sit-down highly agitated. There's a lesson here, folks. Ms. Turness, when you pander to Hispanic lawmakers, do it in English. It'll sound a little bit more authentic, amiga.
Have you still not refinanced your mortgage? Well, soon you may be kicking yourself in the head. Hi, I'm Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial, and interest rates have gone up recently and will continue to rise, but they're still at historical lows. So don't delay. Let us lower your monthly payment, consolidate a first and second, pay off other debt, or drop you into a 15-year loan with no closing costs. That's right. Nothing's rolled into your loan. We'll pay for your appraisal, title, underwriting, settlement fee, everything. Do not miss out on this historic opportunity. Whether it's a purchase or refinance, you'll pay no closing costs. You won't spend a dime. Think about it. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to find out how we can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. And by the way, Westland Financial now is proud to offer reverse mortgages for our clients over 62.
Call Westland Financial today at 1-800-431-2765. That's 1-800-431-2765. 1-800-431-2765. 1-800-431.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. More than 24 raids in Belgium have 21 possible terror suspects detained, but they still haven't gotten the most wanted fugitive from the French terror attacks, Saleh Abdeslam, as the Belgian capital remains on lockdown.
There have been warnings of another ISIS cell here, waiting to launch a Paris-style attack in multiple locations.
Fox's Benjamin Hall in Brussels.
People here are starting to ask how Saleh is still at large 10 days after the attack. Now, we've heard from people that he's reached out to some of his friends via Skype, that he is agitated and he's desperately trying to get from Brussels to Syria, wearing a suicide attack belt and very dangerous.
The French government is considering tightening rules on anonymous money transfers and the use of prepaid bank cards, cracking down on terrorist financing. This as Britain's Prime Minister goes to Paris. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, David Cameron offering French President Francois Hollande his backing.
The United Kingdom will do all in our power to support our friend and ally France.
And Cameron saying he wants to expand Britain's involvement in the coalition bombing ISIS targets in Iraq and Syria. Right now, the UK only hits sites in Iraq.
I firmly support the action that President Hollande has taken to strike ISIL in Syria, and it's my firm conviction that Britain should do so too.
Cameron saying he'll put the idea to the British Parliament this week. Dave?
Simon, the debate's still raging in America about letting more refugees come here. The House has voted to pause the program, but President Obama is vowing a veto. More than 1,000 people marched in Austin, Texas over the weekend supporting refugees that Texas Governor Abbott wants to keep out.
I would tell Governor Abbott, just imagine you're being on the other side of the door. Imagine you being outside in the cold, not having food.
Nori Al-Growi is a student from Syria. There's another new recall of cars. Ford needs to fix about 450,000 Fusions and Mercury Milans, model years 2010 and 11, because the gas tanks could leak. There are no reports of fires or injuries. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Tired of long wait times and high prices at your local boat repair shop? The Boat Dock LLC Marine Repair in Springfield has the fastest turnover. With state-of-the-art test equipment and on-site test tank, the jobs are done right the first time. From simple tune-ups and water pumps to complete repowers on all types of marine power boats, the Boat Dock LLC is the shop to visit at 1252 30th Street in Springfield. A Better Business Bureau accredited business. Visit their website at eugeneboatrepair.com. That's eugeneboatrepair.com.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish, Dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It's quiet to start Thanksgiving week on Wall Street. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
Dave, after last week's gain across the board of more than 3% on the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P, today it's mixed. The Dow right now is down 14, while the Nasdaq up 8.5, and the S&P just squeezing out a slight gain. Pfizer's the big loser on the Dow Jones Industrial Average as Pfizer and Allergan agreed to merge. It's a $155 billion deal, a tax inversion, which actually moves Pfizer's headquarters abroad for a better tax rate. It puts Viagra and Botox under the same umbrella. Chipotle hit a low, bounced back though, and GameStop down 14% after a revenue miss. Dave.
Nicole, thank you. The price of oil is down about 70 cents, close to 41 bucks a barrel again, and gas keeps getting cheaper.
U.S. refiners have been paying lower prices for crude oil. Now retailers are passing through those price cuts that they received to motorists.
So analyst Triple Lindbergh says the price is down 11 cents the past 2 weeks. Her nationwide survey of stations puts regular at $2.14 a gallon. AAA's average is $2.07. An animal we may never see again in America has died.
The northern white rhino named Nola died at the San Diego Zoo.
For us, it's also a step closer to the extinction of a very beautiful species, and that's very hard for all of us.
Christina Simmons at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. The 41-year-old rhino lived at the zoo for 26 years, but with arthritis, an infection, and a deteriorating condition, the zoo decided to euthanize her. With Nola gone, there are only 3 northern white rhinos believed to be left in the world. They're all elderly and live on a preserve in Kenya. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
2 teams are still undefeated. The Golden State Warriors tied an NBA record for best start ever. The defending champs are 15-0 after beating Denver. The Carolina Panthers are 10-0 in the NFL after routing the Redskins. The New England Patriots will try to stay unbeaten playing the Buffalo Bills tonight. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
KPNW, good morning, 7:05 with the wake-up call. Dense fog advisory. Getting reports of it being thick, and of course, people without their lights on. Hopefully, if you're in a car or truck, a vehicle, motorized, hopefully you've got your lights on, and hopefully they're not going to hear us, but apparently there's some bicyclists that don't have their lights on as well. Anyway, some freezing fog potentially coming up. The dense fog advisory with us until 9 o'clock.
Thank goodness it's not a dog, because there's nothing worse than a dense dog.
And I'm sure you've had a couple.
Yes.
I've got one that I would say was a little bit dense. By the way, if you went to the Oregon football game, hopefully you were bundled up. I had a buddy in from New Orleans who's been to college football games everywhere, and he said that the Animal House shout beginning of the fourth quarter was the coolest thing he's ever seen at a football game.
That is cool. That is cool.
Have you seen the video?
Yeah. Well, they show the video on the big screen.
Right. Okay, that's right. I forgot you went to a game. But it's past it's alums. It's past Oregon greats. You see Joey Harrington up there and Dan Fouts, and it's truly one of those things where you go, okay, that was a thumbs up on that. 7:06 coming up. Jason Williams, not of Oregon football fame, talking about what? No fake emergencies petition.
Yeah, it has to do with the how the legislators stick these emergency clauses on bills that are anything but emergencies, so they can shove them through, and that citizens don't have a chance to put a halt on it through, voters' petition and initiative. So what they're trying to do is they're going to put an initiative on the ballot that essentially says, yeah, you know what, not supposed to do that anymore. We're not liking this. And they'll explain why and the wherefores and how that's all going to work coming up.
And Civil War Fight Song Fest, how you can get a marching band at your workplace or wherever you'd like them to do the fight song coming up as well. News next, 7:07 on 1120 KPNW.
Burrito Amigos and game day. You can't beat them. Having a game night in while the team is on the road? Well, invite all your amigos over and let Burrito Amigos supply the eats. Call in an order, pick it up, and it's party on. On the hot side, I suggest Fire Bites. They're deep-fried jalapeno slices, or treat your guests to cheese-filled jalapenos, pepitas. Or go deep with tacos, taquitos, and nachos. And Burrito Amigos taco salads are so big, everyone can dig in. Now, on the side, you can supply the chips while Burrito Amigos supplies the fresh beans, rice, and salsa to dip those chips in. If you want to plan ahead, stop by the night before and get some fresh, cold tamales by the dozen and nuke them at home the day of the game. Here's your Burrito Amigos helpful hint. When you go the tamale route, take home some mole or the thick, cheesy, spicy poblano soup to use as sauce over the tamales. Better yet, use both. And, of course, all of this is great for tailgate parties. You might even go the burrito route. Burrito Amigos all over Eugene and Springfield. As Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, I can tell you there are some weekends where you may even like Burrito Amigos better than the game.
What's your most important document?
This week, a paid invoice.
The McGrath proposal.
Olivia's adoption papers.
Documents are who we are and what we do. With intelligent printers and MFPs, customized apps and services, Kyocera Document Solutions helps companies capture, distribute, and manage the many documents that matter. Because if the document is important,
my winning business plan,
the company is important. Learn more at oldtrex.com.
There is only one Orange Wednesday, and it's at Tannerite Sports Outlet. Black Friday, whatever. For one day, Tannerite's got 30% off all Tannerite-based inventory. Deals? Wolf Gold, 223 cases, just $329.99. Plus, grab a free PMAG 40 with each. 762x39 cases are just $229.99. Outrageous! Plus, the first 20 customers spend $100, get a free 2-pound exploding target, a $17.99 value. Get to the store, check out the Orange Wednesday flyer for more off-the-chain deals. Orange Wednesday, one day only. You want it, get it this Wednesday, and save big at Tannerite Sports Outlet across I-5 from LCC.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood. On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Police and the state fire marshal's office are investigating a fire that raised on-one bikes and Lion Mountain Bakery in Oak Ridge. The fire was first reported around 5 a.m. yesterday morning in the East First Street area of Oak Ridge. According to the fire department there, no one was in the businesses at the time.
It also took about 2 hours to get that fire under control. Cost of the blaze estimated at around $500,000, including the buildings in inventory. The cause of the blaze currently unknown. The Lowell School Board may soon be considering changes to a district-wide ban that prohibits teachers from carrying firearms in classrooms. The director of Lowell's Mountain View Academy Charter School, Lori Cardwell, is expected to ask the board Monday to allow teachers who hold state concealed weapons permits to carry firearms at the school. Well, Cardwell had previously brought the proposal to the Lowell School District Superintendent Walt Hanline, who opposes having guns on campus. Cardwell is bringing up the issue again following last month's shooting at Umpqua Community College, where a gunman killed 9 people before turning the gun on himself. Hanline says there's better ways schools can improve classroom safety than arming teachers. Now, mind you, these teachers would already be armed since they have concealed carry licenses. Hanline says the board will discuss a different safety plan at Monday's meeting. Well, the group Young Americans for Liberty is protesting the ban on concealed weapons at the University of Oregon. They held a poker tournament Friday night where a gun was the top prize. The group's co-president, Brandon Clements, says the school's student government refused to sponsor the event, and he believes that's just wrong.
The event involved guns, and they didn't like that. Their political opinions are not supposed to sway their decision to vote for funding.
The gun was donated by a local retailer who will run a background check on the winner before awarding the prize. The University of Oregon issued a statement saying that the student government can decline sponsorship for any event it doesn't deem appropriate. We'll be talking to Brandon coming up a little bit later on this morning here on the Wake Up Call. The Oregon State Police are looking for your help in their investigation of a hit-and-run fatal crash on Highway 34 at milepost 1 just a little east of Corvallis. A 34-year-old pedestrian was hit by a vehicle around 10 a.m. Sunday. And evidence at the scene indicates the vehicle may have been a white Suzuki. The victim's name is not being released pending notification of the family. Anyone with information on the incident is encouraged to contact the Oregon State Police. 54-year-old Kimberly Wyatt of Eugene has been identified as the bicyclist who was killed when she was struck by a Lane County Sheriff's deputy Thursday night on Highway 99 just south of the Randy Pape Beltline. The deputy was Ed Lagrone. He was driving a Ford F-150 pickup. Police say that Wyatt was traveling north and riding in the left portion of the slow lane near the dotted line that divides the 2 lanes when she was struck. Wyatt was wearing dark clothing and her bike had no rear light nor a rear reflector. She was declared dead at the scene. On the heels of the Paris attacks, many people are feeling nervous about attending large events. The U of O's Department of Public Safety spokesperson, Kelly MacGyver, says they're wanting to work with the public, especially at Mad Night Arena and Autzen Stadium on the U of O campus.
Have a little extra patience as we do our security protocols to try and make sure that those events are very safe. Might take a little extra time for people to get in the gates as bags are checked and things like that. We appreciate their patience, and the overall impact, I think, is having a really safe environment.
The U of O regularly hosts some of Eugene's largest events, be it a football game or concerts. The FBI conducts background checks on immigrants who arrive in the U.S., and that'll include Syrian refugees who are the focus of terrorism security concerns. Greg Bretzing, special agent in charge of the Portland's FBI office, says they depend on the immigrants to help because most of them have nothing to do, he says, with terrorism.
We work very closely with them so that they may be the very first ones to recognize something that's not right or someone who's not here for what the vast majority of them are here for.
Bretzing says Portland is a big target and as vulnerable as any other place. He says that to prevent the attack, they have to be right 100% of the time. A Eugene woman is in jail after a wild ride. 32-year-old Willow May is charged with DUI, eluding police, reckless driving, and attempted assault. A Eugene man contacted police and reported that May was driving her Kia Rio station wagon in rapid circles near 2nd and Madison, and then she just drove straight into a parked car. The man tried to follow her, but she drove straight at him. He said that he had to slam his vehicle into reverse to avoid being hit. So officers responded, and one police officer located her at 5th and Madison and tried to stop her. That pursuit ended up being cut short when May turned her car around and drove directly at the officer's vehicle at a high speed. The officer, who had a passenger rider, was able to maneuver out of the way. Another officer was in the area and saw May crash into a curb. He took the opportunity to forcibly stop May's vehicle at 4th and May and subsequently arrested the woman. She's in the Lane County Jail. Forecasters say this season's El Nino is going to be the strongest ever recorded. Brad Ford reports that may be bad news for farmers.
An El Nino weather pattern normally means a drier and warmer winter for us. Tyree Wild with the National Weather Service hopes that's not the case.
It just can't be as bad as last year. Last year we were record low snowpacks, especially in the Oregon Cascades.
Hydrologist Scott Oviatt tells K2 News that could mean another year where reservoirs don't fill.
So we're going into this year with most reservoirs and streams being less than 30% statewide.
A dry winter would adversely affect farmers with crops that depend on natural rainfall. Could also affect farmers who depend on irrigation. And if there's a lack of snow, it could mean another tough year for ski resorts in the state. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
The first significant cold snap of the season is expected to arrive tonight and on Tuesday in western Oregon.
We're just getting a cold front that's going to come down and bring down some Arctic air from western Canada and just going to really cool our temperatures down behind the front for later this week. Going to see some snow getting down into the foothills and also into the higher elevations of the coast range.
Laurel McCoy with the National Weather Service says that cold air is expected to move across southwest Washington this afternoon and blow into northwest Oregon tonight, where we could see some rain mixed with snow overnight, although the weather forecast isn't calling for any of that to stick, which is a bad sign because normally when they say that's going to happen, it does. Still, they say it won't. Below normal temperatures are expected to linger well into Thanksgiving's holiday weekend, with temperatures at night dropping down to about 20 degrees. Corvallis man died Sunday in a rollover crash on Highway 22 a little west of Salem. 24-year-old Christopher Lydell was the passenger. He was pronounced dead at the scene. 28-year-old James Allen Young of Independence was driving. He's at Salem Hospital with serious injuries. Witnesses say their Subaru was going 100 miles an hour when it lost control. Alcohol also considered to be a factor. The Food and Drug Administration has given a company called Aqua Bounty Technologies a green light to raise and sell genetically modified salmon for human consumption without special labeling.
I think people deserve to have the right to be able to look at something and decide whether they want to eat that themselves or feed it to their family.
Dr. David Noakes, Program Director at Oregon State University's Oregon Hatchery Research Center, says the aquaculture industry does not support the decision because it could be devastating to threaten wild salmon runs. The DNA of the fish is altered to make them grow bigger, faster than regular farm or wild salmon, and if there was an accidental release of the altered fish, it could drive native runs to extinction. An anti-abortion group trying to raise enough signatures to get an initiative on the 2016 ballot that would ban state-funded abortions. Brad Ford has the report.
Oregon Life United has gathered nearly 1,500 signatures with hopes of getting the measure before voters. Jeff Jimerson with the group Life United says taxpayers should not be paying for the destruction of human life.
Today in Oregon, more than 40% of all abortions are funded by taxpayers.
Jimerson says data from the Oregon Health Authority shows 45,000 abortions have been paid for by Oregonians over the past 12 fiscal years.
We live in the only state in the country with zero laws that restrict or limit abortions.
This is the third time that Oregon Life United has tried to get this measure on the ballot. They still need 115,000 more signatures to get there. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
Dr. Bud Pierce, a Republican candidate for governor, is on the campaign trail at least a day a week to become Oregon's next governor. Pierce is a practicing surgeon and a veteran, and he visited Coos Bay this last week. He believes in a combination of conserve and cut.
Set aside beautiful natural areas for visit and recreation, but trees are a crop, and they need to be cared for, nurtured, and they need to be harvested.
He says his vision includes education reform, building the economy, and decreasing restrictions on natural resources. One person is dead, another hospitalized as a result of meningococcal disease in Douglas County, according to a public health official. They say it's still too early to tell whether the cases are connected. The Douglas County Health Department says they don't believe the broader public's at risk, as it isn't believed that either individual had a high number of close contacts around the time they fell ill. Dr. Emilio DeBess with the Oregon Health Authority says they're interviewing close contacts like friends, family members, and coworkers and providing them with antibiotics if necessary. So a Shed woman is facing a mental evaluation after Lynn County Sheriff's deputies say she killed 6 of her neighbor's chickens near Shed last Thursday. Under Sheriff Jim Yon describes what they found when they arrived.
She had gone across the street and gotten into her neighbor's chicken coop, and she was making all kinds of funny sounds that freaked them out, so they called 911. By the time we had gotten there, she walked over with a knife and an axe, and she had sharpened a stake and was stabbing the chickens.
The woman was ordered to leave the coop by officers and drop the weapon. Instead, she attacked the deputies with a stake before they dropped her with a taser. None of the officers were injured. The case has been forwarded to a prosecutor for charges of trespass, animal abuse, and attempted assault on a public safety officer. And finally, a small Oregon company got a $200,000 investment Friday night on Shark Tank. That's a show on ABC. Junie Roca is from Brazil and makes Brazilian cheesy bread. She and her husband started their business in their house, and 3 years ago, Whole Foods picked up the product.
After we did well in Portland, they embraced our brand and took us up to Seattle, to Southern California, and now we're in Texas and in Florida with Whole Foods.
They're called Brazzi Bites, and they come in several flavors. On the show, Lori Greiner invested $200,000. Roca says they're hoping for more exposure on national TV, and they say that the exposure they got should make the product even more popular. It's 7:22. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oregon football team elevated 5 spots to number 18 after their 48-28 win over Southern Cal on Saturday. Oregon's quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. showed that, well, what he could do once he's healthy, throwing for 6 touchdowns to 6 different receivers, 407 yards in all. He did get some monumental help from his monumental line.
Yeah, and then the old lineman gave me the extra time. I remember one time I was back there took a nap, and then, but that's not, saying anything bad about USC, but our old line just really stepping it up.
They're firing on all cylinders, and yes, Oregon is 30-point-plus favorites this Friday against Oregon State. AP, a little shifting. Clemson still at number 1. Bama now number 2. Iowa at number 3. Iowa, Notre Dame 4th. Ohio State now at number 8 after losing to now number 6, Michigan State. NFL, Carson Palmer had fun against his former team, throwing for 4 touchdowns. Arizona Cardinals firing also on all cylinders, slipping by the Cincinnati Bengals 34-31. In Seattle, Thomas Rawls hits the nod as Marshawn Lynch sits. He was a good alternative, running for 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hawks friend the Niners with another loss, 29-13. Ravens get by the Rams narrowly, 16-13. Baltimore quarterback Joe Flacco out with a torn ACL. NBA, Golden State 15-0. After handling the Nuggets 118-105 in L.A., the Portland Trailblazers dumped the Lakers 107-93. Oregon men's basketball team 4-0. They beat Valparaiso 73-68. Dylan Brooks had a career-high 26 points. First round of the Western Conference Finals in soccer, Portland Timbers beat the FC Dallas team 3-1. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your Westside neighborhood sports headquarters and pub. At 7:24.
KPNW weather with Chris Nation. Brought to you by Mattress Mania, where you save like crazy.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, it is cold. Temps right now in the upper 20s to low 30s. We did cross the freezing line last night. Now we've got patchy dense fog off and on across the valley, as well as partly cloudy skies. And we've got light winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, highs will only climb into the mid to upper 40s out there, with a high of 48 here in town. Partly cloudy skies in the afternoon become mostly cloudy this evening as a strong storm system in an Arctic cold front start to move into the area. We're going to see a 90% shot at showers after 8 p.m. Some of that could become a wintry mix into the early morning hours of tomorrow, but not expecting any real accumulation along the valley floor. The passes, though, are looking anywhere between 6 to 12 inches, so be cautious if you've got holiday travels ahead. Storm system pulls out, but it's going to be very cold as we approach Thanksgiving. The high on Thanksgiving looks to be 39. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, brought to you by Builders Electric, providing smart electrical service since 1960. Robert Sinclair, educator and speaker, shared this idea in a recent conference. We really don't learn anything from our experience. We only learn from reflecting on our experience. And as we enter this Thanksgiving week, perhaps this is a good time to not only reflect on all the things we've learned, but to also reflect on the positive experiences we have to be thankful for. This great American tradition was begun in order to give people an opportunity to remember how fortunate we are to have lives filled with family, friends, and a lot of experiences that have made our lives so fulfilling. And the fact we're able in this country to improve our lives if we need. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
Today's Motivational Minute was sponsored by Builders Electric, voted the Register Guard's 2015 Reader's Choice #1 electrical contractor, providing positive service for over 55 years. That's Builders Electric, CCB 4296.
Pacific Air Comfort is a steadily growing, stable company and has been in the Eugene-Springfield area since 1999. They are looking for experienced residential and commercial HVAC installers and service technicians. These are full-time, permanent positions offering great wages, benefits like paid holidays, retirement plans, SPIF program, and more. If you or someone you know is looking for a challenge, contact Pacific Air Comfort at 541-672-9510. For job descriptions, visit pacificaircomfort.com. You may qualify for a sign-on bonus.
When you consider a gift to the Eugene mission this holiday season, you're considering a gift for all of Eugene Springfield. That's because the Eugene mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless, treating the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, Eugene Springfield gets well. Give to the Eugene mission and give rise to hope. Give today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope. Rising.
I think if more folks had beds from Sleep Train, you wouldn't see any, shopping at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. It would be, a nice, pleasant hour, like 9, 10, 11 o'clock, whenever they got up from their slumber. Sleep Train has great mattresses, Stearns & Foster, Beauty Rest, Tempur-Pedic, Serta, ceiling. What I think you should do is go in there pretty much blindfolded to the idea of the, because you hear us talk about Tempur-Pedic, or maybe you hear somebody talk about Serta or Beauty Rest. Go in there and just kind of do a real test lay where you don't really even know what you're sleeping on, get the feel of it, and come out with the bed, the mattress that you want and that you like and desire, and hopefully your significant other, if you have one, is on the same page. And the great thing about it, there's no pressure, so that there's any couple months into it, if it's bringing strife to your relationship, it shouldn't, and they'll make it good.
Yeah, particularly with the adjustable base, because there's so many interesting things you can do with that.
Right. If anything, that would be conducive to a relationship.
Right.
And beneficial.
Exactly. And fun. So anyway, check out Sleep Train. Check out the adjustable bases. You can thank us for that later. Anyway, go into Sleep Train. You're going to find them in Albany, Corvallis, Eugene, and Springfield. And tell them Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call sent you.
This is a heavy dose of hard-hitting wake-up call. This is the wake-up call.
For one thing, thank you so much.
Holloway in London and the wake-up call.
Yeah, I love what you do.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Oh, boy. Good morning. Welcome to the wake-up call. Well, yesterday, I make that last Friday, we were doing a segment on firearms, firearm law, and et cetera with Kevin from the Oregon Firearms Federation. And he brought up that there was a group that was putting together a petition called the No Fake Emergencies petition. And to talk about that this morning, it is Jason Williams. He is with the group, and he joins us. He's the chief petitioner, and he joins us on the wake-up call this morning from, I believe, Salem. Jason, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Okay, so the No Fake Emergencies petition. First off, what is it supposed to do?
Well, we're trying to solve a problem where the politicians have rigged our democracy against us. Simply, they have found a way to pass all of their bad bills without allowing the people to have a right to repeal those bad laws. And it goes simply like this. The politicians pass a bad law that they know the public won't like, and normally when they pass a bad law, the public has 100 days to repeal it, to file a referendum petition, to take it to the streets and to try to take it to a public vote. But the politicians have created this, have exploited this aspect where if they just put an emergency clause on the bill, then the bill goes into effect pretty much immediately, and it prevents the public from doing a repeal referendum drive. And so when we look back, we just kind of noticed that some of the worst bills and ideas imaginable all had these little fake emergencies on them. We're talking about the near $250 million spent for the bridge that was never built on the Columbia River crossing. We're talking, you remember that Cover Oregon scandal where it was another near $250 million spent without enrolling a single Oregonian?
Yep.
Those bills, those horrendous examples of government waste, all happened with emergency clauses on them. We even see examples of releasing criminals, sex offenders, out of prison early with an emergency clause on it. Because they know, the politicians know, that whenever you release criminals, the public is just infuriated. The politicians get to pocket the cash, savings, but they don't have to live with the criminals out on their streets like the common people do. And so what we have is a way for the politicians to simply say to the voters, shut up, we're going to do what we're going to do, we've rigged the system against you, we're going to use these fake emergencies to make sure our bad laws go into law faster and to block your right to vote and to repeal it through the referendum initiative process.
All right, so couldn't a person, like, let's take, for example, the background check bill that was passed in the last legislative session. After that is signed, why is it, I mean, what is it about the Oregon Constitution or Oregon law that doesn't allow us as citizens to go out and do a petition and overturn it even though it's gone into effect?
Very simply, if that gun control bill didn't have a fake emergency clause on it, then the people could immediately start a referendum petition drive.
I understand that, but my question is, all right, it is in effect now. Why can't voters, if they want to, start a petition now to try and overturn or erase that law?
That is always possible. There are some areas. Well, first of all, if you want to get a measure on the ballot, you know, you are looking at 2 to 3 times as more signatures effort that you have to do to be able to get that to be able to be on the ballot. You have to, you know, politicians can sometimes step in there and write their own ballot title against your own measure. There are all kinds of barriers that prevent people to taking a measure and putting it on the ballot, which is why you don't see a lot of citizen measures on the ballot anymore, because it's become so much more difficult. With referendum drives, you are capturing a moment in time when the issue is becoming law, it's hot, and you've got fewer signatures, and you're putting it there before the people for a vote. The referendum has been very useful over the years. I used it. I was a chief petitioner back in 2003 when they passed a near $1 billion tax increase. We're talking income taxes, taxes on seniors, on health care, and we were able to say, as soon as the governor signed it, to get 100,000 signatures, forced it to the ballot. The people rejected it. It was a very genuine moment in time that we captured that moment in time, the momentum, and stopped it. And so we don't need to. Whereas right now it's difficult. The bill goes into effect earlier, it gets to be put into law, and then you have to mount a very expensive drive. So.
Okay, so then what would this particular petition do? I mean, how is it written, and how would it end these, as you call it, fake emergencies?
It does it very simply. If it is really an emergency, then what this does is it requires the legislature to get a 2/3 supermajority vote. So that way, you're saying if you want these bills to not allow the public to have a voice, then you just need to get a higher threshold of votes. We have it currently for taxes, where you need to get a supermajority for taxes, tax votes, and that has worked for 20 years. So now we want to see it be applied to emergencies. And we need to do this because the emergencies, nearly half the bills that are up there now have emergency clauses on them, whether it be ordering the Department of Fish and Wildlife to make a fish brochure from the less serious to the serious. And when we talk back, you were talking with Kevin Sterrett with the gun control bill. You know, this is a very nefarious process that happened, because when that gun control bill came up for a hearing in the Senate, the Senate decided to ramrod that bill through, and most of the people who showed up to the hearing to speak against it were denied a chance to speak. The senators knew this bill, the public didn't like it, so they simply said, we're going to listen to our people and a little bit of yours, but for most of the people that showed up, we're just going to say, sorry, we don't have time for you. We're going to cut off the hearings. And we're talking people who traveled hours just to spend 5 minutes to share their opinion on a bill. So you could see on how they are shutting out the public during the hearing process, and then when that gun control bill passed, they put an emergency clause on it. So now they're shutting out the public from having a chance to repeal it.
Okay, so how many signatures do you have to collect to start the ball rolling here?
Well, we need to definitely get over 100,000 signatures, really safe signatures, by the end. And so what we're trying to do...
By the end of what?
Well, we're talking by July of next year.
Okay.
And so we just started out of the gate a few weeks ago, and we really need to be bringing in about 15,000 signatures a month. And a lot of that needs to come from volunteer people, people who are listening right now. When people sign a petition, they can even go online, download a petition, sign it, and mail it in. It can be emailed directly to you. This is what people need to do, because we can't make our goal without getting a huge turnout of volunteer signatures. And it matters. And when people put their name and they get their spouse, they get their neighbor to sign on a petition, that saves us money, that gets us closer. So we put these measures on the web at nofakeemergencies.com. That's nofakeemergencies, plural.com, and you could just download a petition right there, right to your home, and print it out. Very easy, but we need to do this because the politicians are basically telling us to say that our voice doesn't count. They're taking away our right to vote on these bad bills.
All right, so if folks want more information, where do they go?
They go to nofakeemergencies.com.
All right, nofakeemergencies.com. And again, you have to have 100,000 signatures by July. How many, do you even have any idea how many you have now?
Well, right now, we've only been out there for about 14 days, and I have about a box full of petitions. It has just flooded in, and so that is so encouraging, but we got to keep that momentum up.
Are we talking shoebox or moving box?
I'm talking about, well, I'm looking at, it's like one of those little Tupperware tubs, like a banker's box.
Oh. All right, nice. Good deal.
So, yeah.
Well, congratulations on getting the ball rolling, Jason. Again, give the website one more time.
nofakeemergencies.com.
All right. And Jason Williams, the chief petitioner there. You can go to that website to find out more details. Jason, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call.
Thank you.
All right, you take care. It is 740 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
It's the latest wake-up call market news. This is the KPNW Business Report.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed on this holiday shortened trading week. Energy shares are weighing on the market, even as Saudi Arabia said it would work with OPEC to stabilize the global oil market. Pfizer and Allergan agreeing to combine in a record $160 billion deal, creating a drug-making giant with products from Viagra to Botox. The transaction is structured so that Dublin-based Allergan is technically buying its much larger partner, a move that makes it easier for the company to locate its tax address in Ireland instead of the U.S. Sales of previously owned homes fell in October from the second highest level since 2007. Lean inventory limited momentum in residential real estate. A limited supply of available properties, especially more affordable homes, has made for a slow and steady recovery in residential real estate. The number of jobs gutted from oil and gas companies around the world has now passed the 250,000 mark. That is according to industry consultant Graves & Company. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
You're independent and want to stay that way, but you'd like some friendship and security. Consider Eugene's elegant yet affordable retirement living, Turpentine Terrace. At Turpentine Terrace, friendships grow through activities, the all-day restaurant-style dining, and the warm community environment. The large studio, one-bedroom, and two-bedroom apartments are the best value in Eugene. They have a secure parking garage and are near excellent retail stores. Call for a free tour and lunch, 689-0619. Turpentine Terrace, a tremendous time of life.
When you consider a gift to the Eugene mission this holiday season, you're considering a gift for all of Eugene Springfield. That's because the Eugene mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless, treating the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, Eugene Springfield gets well. Give to the Eugene mission and give rise to hope. Give today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope. Rising.
Our busy patients are thrilled when they realize we can provide crowns in one visit. We do it all right here. You get standard crowns or implant crowns with no temporaries, no second visit.
The new technology is here. Eugene Implant Center at Denture Masters. For standard or implant crowns, whether you're a current or new patient, call Eugene Implant Center today.
Imagine the possibilities. See us for a crown in just one visit.
Call Eugene Implant Center today at 541-345-0004.
Okay, so just type the job website address here. That's it. Then you enter what job you're looking for there.
Electrician. This is Peter. Recently, he got help going on the internet for the first time to look for a new job.
Okay, then you just hit search and...
In the past, Peter's gotten work through people he knew, but he heard there were more jobs online.
There we go.
These are all for me?
Uh-huh.
Really? He had no idea just how many. I can't believe it. This one looks good. Peter is thinking the internet might be for him after all.
And this is just one website.
Wow. Why didn't I do this sooner? See what the internet can help you do at everyoneon.org or call 1-855-387-9166 to find a free training class near you. Brought to you by Connect to Compete and the Ad Council.
Weather every 10 minutes during the wake-up call. Count on it. News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, it is bone cold. Temps out there right now are in the upper 20s to low 30s. We did cross the freezing line last night. Now we've got patchy dense fog off and on across the valley. Under partly cloudy skies and light winds out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we're looking at partly cloudy skies continuing across the region, becoming mostly cloudy in the evening with an approaching storm system. Now highs are only going to get into the upper 40s to low 50s out there, a high of 48. After 5 p.m., a 60 to 80% shot at showers, as well as maybe some winter mix overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Mornings are a little different with a wake-up call.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
743. News Radio 1120 KPNW. See, I think, we could take this whole Civil War fight song with the Springfield High School marching band, and you could take it to, other holidays. And Civil War, that's a holiday. Black Friday,
true.
But you could do, Mardi Gras, and you could do, find stuff for Bastille Day, and it could be like a
UK
year-long
Boxing Day.
Yeah. It could be a year-long promotion because it seems to be a moneymaker for you. Welcome back. It's
well, thank you.
Evidence, Christopher Holt, the band director over there. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's good to be back.
What do you think about that idea?
I think that sounds like a lot of time off from school. but which I think my students would be absolutely up for. But I'm fresh out of Boxing Day carols. I don't have any of those in my library.
Gives you a little bit of time to come up with something.
Yeah, if anyone knows of good Boxing Day carols, let me know and we'll work on it.
How much work? I mean, and we should explain what's going on. Is that you are going to be, not you, but your band is going to be doing Oregon and Oregon State fight songs at various locations.
Yep, we're going around today, and we're playing the U of O and the OSU fight songs. People have hired us. We're going to businesses. We're going to private residences. We're going to schools. And people pay $40. We show up and play either the U of O or the OSU fight song and go on our merry way.
Who will you play? What fight song will you play the most?
It's pretty even. A lot of our appointments are places we've been to before, places that hire us back every year. And we show up and they just pay us to play both. So they pay us $80 and we do both fight songs. It's kind of a more of a celebration of the event.
Do they dress up? Do they kind of play the part?
Oh yeah. A lot of the places they'll be doing kind of a Civil War party and they'll have people dressed up in the various colors and all that kind of good stuff.
$40 and some I'm sure pay more.
Yep.
Out, we donation.
It's donations. It's a great fundraiser for the band program. How much we make kind of fluctuates with the competitiveness of the game. So
this one, how much do you think you'll make today?
Well, this is looking like one of my lower totals. It's OSU is. They're trying really hard. How's that this year? And because dropping 50 to Washington, that's fun. But anyways, they are with the game not looking as competitive as in years past or whatnot. We're going to make between $800 and $1,000 today, which is still really good for a one-day fundraiser.
And that goes to what? To supplement what?
That'll help supplement the repair budget and the music budget for what we're doing and at Springfield High with the band program. Every year I have to kind of supplement that repair budget. The last couple of years I've had to add about $1,000 out of my ASB account to the repair budget. So this will help cover that and it'll be great.
So if people want to be, you're one day only.
One day only, and we're going around today. Usually we'd go later in the week, but for a while there was some threat of snow, and I had to make a decision. And today looked clear, so I went ahead and did that just so we wouldn't get rescheduled later.
So how do they get if they want to have you come? It's not too late.
If people want to do it, it's not too late. I do have time open this afternoon. The best thing to do would be to call Springfield High School. Just call the main office at Springfield High School, and they will hook you up with me and let you know. They'll give you a way to contact me on the road, and we'll go from there. But if it's this morning, I'm fairly packed. But if you call me up for an afternoon gig, I've got a fair amount of room this afternoon.
And region-wise, where's your?
All of Springfield and all of Eugene. So we're going out as far west as, we're going past Beltline on West 11th, and we're going out into the Thurston area.
Other side of the tracks.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, so what do you want to do first?
We're going to play OSU first. So, because, I think the OSU fans deserve to hear their fight song at least once this week. So here we go.
Can you do it in a minor key?
I think they have been all year, so we'll stick with the original.
Okay.
Here we go. 1, 2, 1.
Let's take that last part again, the last stanza. A 1, a 2, a 3. Seriously?
You don't have the power, man.
Wow. They're looking at me like, is he serious? All right,
we get like 2 hits on the snare.
I want to know who are the real devout Oregon Duck fans in here? All right, so we had 3, 4, and 5 total. Is it difficult to throw the OSU chanting there, or is it you just being kind of weird?
Kind of weird, yeah.
But you just suck it up and you realize it's for the good of the music department.
You're doing it for cash.
Yeah, we're professional musicians at this point. So
there you go.
Yeah, they pay us, we'll do it. So.
All right, I'm ready. Are you ready for the Oregon fight song?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. We're ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 1.
Yes.
Nicely done.
I mean, musically speaking, isn't the Oregon fight song a much better piece of music? I mean, I'm being objective. If I was an Oregon State fan, I would say the same thing.
Yeah, I think the U of O fight song seems more original to me, and it's definitely a more challenging piece. It's the one that you need to work on a little bit more to make it sound good. Yeah.
Who wrote it?
Albert Perfect, I believe, is the guy's name.
Yeah, and where was and when was this?
Yesterday.
You have no idea.
I have no idea. Yeah.
So you don't know what inspired him, or whether he was like a music professor or just some guy sitting at home in his cabin up in the woods.
Yeah, I don't know the actual story. I do know it was I have like an antique copy of a piano part that's from like the 30s. So I'm sure it goes back about that far. So at least that far.
Wow. Okay. So just in case folks are just tuning in,
yes,
give us your best pitch.
Okay, this is the Springfield High School Civil War Fight Song fundraiser for $40. We'll show up anywhere today to play either the U of O or the OSU fight song. We'll go to businesses, schools, private residences, anywhere you want to go. The best part about this fight song fundraiser is if you have a friend who cheers for the wrong team, you pay us $40, and let's say you've got a friend who's a Duck fan and you're a big Beaver fan, pay us $40. We will play the OSU fight song for that Duck fan, and it's a good little gotcha to kick off the Civil War week. So,
Chris, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this fundraiser here at Springfield for 14 years.
Wow, so it must be a little moneymaker for you.
Oh yeah, it's good. We the year that the Civil War determined the winner of the Civil War would go to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
That year we made about $4,000. It was a huge success. This year we're going to be making about $1,000. Usually we're coming about $1,500, $2,000, somewhere in there.
OSU owes you a big apology.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people jumped off of the U of O bandwagon when we were 3-3 too. So it kind of when I started scheduling.
I have a short memory.
Yeah, the last 4 weeks have been pretty good for Duck fans. Yeah.
So who do they have to get in touch with to?
If
you guys,
if they call the Springfield High School main office and just Springfield High School and call them up and say they want to get a hold of someone for the Fight Song fundraiser, they'll give them my cell phone number and get me hooked up. I'll also leave that number with you guys if they want to get through you. And
if Bill London throws out a 40, can you guys do Thurston High's fight song?
We do not know Thurston High's fight song. So
do you know Springfield off the top?
We do know. Do you want to hear the Springfield High fight song?
Here
we go.
Bruins, go, fight, win.
There we go.
Okay. I like that better than I did the other two fight songs.
Well, that's
a great fight song.
It is an awesome fight.
Yeah, thank you, Wisconsin. But anyways, yes, it's a great fight song.
Oh, you guys lifted it from Wisconsin. Nice.
Yeah, pretty much every high school in America either has On Wisconsin or Notre Dame as their fight song. About 80% of the schools, but there you go.
Two classics.
Two classics.
Yeah.
It works really well.
All right. Again, if you want to get the Springfield high school band out there, call the high school and say pronto. You better do it quick because it might.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a hold of me while I'm on the road.
And 3, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, right now I've told the kids we're going to go till 4 o'clock. My afternoon's pretty open, so if you want me to, sometime after lunch, give me a call. And
if they throw out a Hyundai, they might.
We'll go anywhere they want. Yeah. No.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Again, Christopher Holt with the Springfield High School Marching Band, 755 News Radio, 1120 KPNW.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids, healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council. Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids, healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Tune in to Real Estate Today, weekdays at 5:30 p.m.
I'm Bob Nelson, real estate investment broker and exchange specialist. Cascade Exchange Services is my choice for completing tax-deferred exchanges. Megan McMahon, who's a CPA, is my choice of the person to handle my tax-deferred exchanges. It's a locally owned company. They do business on a nationwide basis, same-day document preparation, and she's always available for free and very excellent consultation. Contact Megan at Cascade Exchange Services.
There is only one Orange Wednesday, and it's at Tannerite Sports Outlet. Black Friday, whatever. For one day, Tannerite's got 30% off all Tannerite-based inventory. Deals? Wolf Gold, 223 cases, just $329.99, plus grab a free PMAG 40 with each. 762x39 cases are just $229.99. Outrageous! Plus, the first 20 customers spend $100, get a free 2-pound exploding target, a $17.99 value. Get to the store, check out the Orange Wednesday flyer for more off-the-chain deals. Orange Wednesday, one day only. You want it, get it this Wednesday, and save big at Tannerite Sports Outlet across I-5 from LCC.
News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Your plan is to make the most out of life. That's why your plan is a Medicare Advantage plan from Pacific Source. It lets you choose from almost any doctor in the region with no deductible. Plus, you get great benefits like prescription drug coverage, protection when you travel, optional dental care, and even discounts on gym memberships. Plans start as low as $39. Pacific Source Medicare, the health plan for all of life's biggest plans. To learn more about our Medicare Advantage plans, call toll-free 888-863-3637, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Visit us online at www.medicare.pacificsource.com. Premium and benefits may change on January 1st of each year. You must continue to pay your Medicare Part B premium. The provider network may change at any time. Members will receive notice when necessary. Pacific Source Community Health Plans is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Pacific Source Medicare depends on contract renewal.
With our eye on the stock tickers, this is the Wake Up Call Business Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks have started to move higher as investors grow more comfortable with the possibility that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates next month. Recent economic reports have boosted the case for raising borrowing costs for the first time since 2006. Traders are now pricing in a 72% chance that they will make that move in December. United Auto Workers voting over the weekend to approve new contracts with Ford and General Motors, wrapping up one of the most lucrative rounds of negotiations for the union. UAW members have demanded a greater payback for helping their company survive the recession. McDonald's is switching up the outdoor ordering process to make it more personal. and hopefully more accurate. The new method, it is called Ask, Tell in McDonald's speak, provides 3 opportunities to check what the customer requested is what the customer is getting. Plus, employees should no longer fold over the tops of paper bags, but will leave them open so that the contents can be inspected. Courtney Donahoe.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. He's relieved they got the guys. Indianapolis pastor happy police have made 3 arrests in the murder of his pregnant wife in their home 2 weeks ago. Fox's Jeff Manasso is on the case live.
Dave, 28-year-old Amanda Blackburn was pregnant when she was shot in the head during a home invasion and sexual assault 2 weeks ago while her 1-year-old son was in his crib. Now 3 suspects, 18-year-old Larry Taylor, Jalen Watson, and Deanna Gordon, have been captured and await charges in this and other burglaries and reportedly at least 1 other rape case. Amanda's husband, Pastor Davey Blackburn, releasing a statement saying he's thankful for the arrests and that while everything inside of him wants him to hate, that he instead chooses forgiveness and love. Dave.
Jeff, Belgian police keep looking for potential terrorists.
22 raids across the city with 21 arrests. Now, we heard helicopters in the sky all night as those raids went underway.
Fox's Benjamin Hall in Brussels, where there's a credible threat that ISIS might try a Paris-style attack.
This city has been in lockdown for the last 3 days at the highest terror level, and 1,000 new soldiers have been drafted into the capital as subways, schools, shops, concerts, sporting events, and other public gatherings remain closed. Police have told citizens to stay indoors.
Another attack in the West Bank. A Palestinian stabbed an Israeli man to death at a gas station, then troops shot and killed him. This shortly after 2 teenage girls stabbed a 70-year-old Palestinian man with scissors in Jerusalem, mistakenly thinking he was an Israeli. One of the girls was shot dead. The search continues for the gunman who opened fire last night at a New Orleans block party and video music shoot.
Right now, we need people to come forward to tell us who they saw and what they saw.
Police Superintendent Michael Harris and 16 people were hurt. New home sales are out. Previously owned homes, the sales of those fell more than 3% last month as home prices and mortgage rates keep rising. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 26 points. This is Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This is an exciting announcement from Eugene Airport. Today is the day your life gets easier. Getting from point A to point B has never been more efficient. You can now fly nonstop from Eugene Airport to San Jose. That's right. There's now a new nonstop way to San Jose on Alaska Airlines. We're connecting the Silicon Valley to the Silicon Shire. Book your next flight today at alaskaair.com. Fly easy. Fly EUG.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck for Dave 2037 so he can buy anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman. What are you getting Steve 2037?
Steve 2037 will be just fine.
Well, okay, but don't expect to borrow my anti-gravity boots.
Save something for the future. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million bucks. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Do you think Islamic terrorists will try to launch an attack in the U.S. soon? That was a Fox News poll question. 56% answered is very likely. 29% think it's somewhat likely. That poll also gives Donald Trump a bigger lead in the Republican race for president.
From America's election headquarters.
Donald Trump still leads the GOP pack at 28%. Ben Carson has slipped 10 points back. He said on ABC's This Week he's not worried.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio are on his heels, 4 points behind. Rubio told Fox News Sunday his foreign policy credentials help him talk about potential threats.
I'm glad and I feel very confident in my position and in talking about those issues.
Rubio also does best head-to-head against Hillary Clinton, beating her by 8 points. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
A Washington State woman's lucky to be alive after she ignored a road-closed sign and got swept up into a river, then dialed 911 in Stanwood.
I've been to you know. Okay, I want. Oh my God! Somebody please. Ma'am, listen to me.
It took rescuers using a backhoe 45 minutes to get her. A driver who crashed to start the season takes the checkered flag at the end. Fox's Evan Brown was at NASCAR's championship finale and joins us live.
Dave, Kyle Busch is the new Sprint Cup champ, winning
winning despite missing 11 races due to a broken leg and foot from a crash. They said it would have been impossible for him to even have been in contention.
Not when you got a car driving as good as mine was.
Now, Busch held off 3 others to clinch the title. Last year's champ Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and legendary 4-time Cup winner Jeff Gordon, who after last night is retired.
It didn't take the championship for me to come out of here feeling like I'm on top of the world.
Ending a career of 797 races, Dave.
Evan, in the NFL tonight, the Patriots will try to stay undefeated. If they beat the Bills, they'll join the Panthers at 10-0. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
.5 1120 KPNW. Welcome in. Tomorrow and Wednesday, things and segments, conversation. Hopefully that'll add to the Thanksgiving experience. By the way, I just got an email. Apparently, and I can't confirm this. I looked just real quick at the website. But somebody went to the Winco in Springfield, Eugene, and spent over $100 and got a free turkey. So I don't know. If you're trying to cut, if you're trying to get some good deals out there.
Was it the turkey of their choice, or do they just have to take one of those off-brand turkeys that weighs 4 ounces and you can cook?
They were happy, so I don't think there was any real specifications.
Oh, nice.
If you can confirm or deny or add to it, we'll take the phone call, 541-485-KPNW. If you see or hear anything else that is out there that people might want to take advantage of, will be kind of like your cuisine, your community chat board, and pass it on.
I'd like to know how wild turkey tastes. Well, actually, I know how one type of wild turkey tastes. I was just going to say. But, I mean, actually, a turkey shot in the wild, I'm curious as to how they taste. I've never had one, and that's one of those things that I've always wanted to try, was a wild turkey.
KPNW, welcome to Turkey Talk.
Hi.
Hi, this is a guy that went to Winco in Eugene yesterday and got a 19-pound bird for free for spending $100.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
19-pound. That's a good-sized bird.
It was a good bird. No GMOs, no preservatives. Actually a really good deal, so I recommend it.
So, did you know that going in, and so you went and got that and knew your bill was going to be over $100?
I did not know that, and a woman in line in front of us said that, and we made sure that we actually didn't have to go back and buy anything, but we had spent $100 on our Thanksgiving dinner, and we got the deal.
Yeah, I mean, $100 is nothing.
Nice.
So,
very cool.
Yeah, I confirm.
Thanks for the phone call.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving. KPNW, good morning.
Hi.
Hi. We're going to have to get rid of all...
Hang on 1 second.
They're getting feedback.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. 807 News Radio 1120 KPNW. News coming up.
Yeah, we'll have these stories in depth. Kind of a wacky weekend for criminals. We'll have some of their dealings. Also, we'll take a look at, speaking of GMOs, GMO fish, in particular GMO salmon. We'll have the story there and a few other things along the way, including weather and El Nino. It's coming up on KPNW.
Fall is officially hit with cold, rainy weather. Don't start a chilly day with a bleak breakfast. Warm your spirits with a breakfast burrito and coffee from Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You can always enjoy a fresh cup of coffee at any Burrito Amigos location, but if you need a great espresso, hit up Burrito Amigos drive-thru on 6th and Polk in Eugene, or drop by the Springfield shop at 42nd and Main. Get a big old fresh mocha and bacon breakfast burrito. Bacon and chocolate and coffee. In some states, those are the only 3 food groups. Best of all, you don't need to get out of your car at either of those locations. Of course, that breakfast burrito can also feature blink sausage, chorizo, huevos rancheros, black Angus steak, or get it meatless. And of course, you can have a junior burrito or get the larger regular size on those days when you really need to fuel your morning. I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, and I do hereby attest coffee and a breakfast burrito from Burrito Amigos trumps any breakfast food requiring the application of milk. Burrito Amigos in Springfield and Eugene.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC.
friendly people who treat you right.
Money Saver Cards, Coburg Road Car Wash, a quarter mile north of the Oakway Center.
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. This is Sue from Disaster Relief. We're calling neighbors statewide to get help for storm victims. Children, lost parents, homes. You can. Oh, thank you. But could you send the money now? The need is urgent. We so appreciate you. It means so much, but it has to be now. It has to be cash. No credit cards, checks, just cash.
The moment they ask for immediate cash is the moment you know something's wrong. Think before you send money. Learn more at scamawareness.org.
There's a lot of things out there that we don't understand. It doesn't mean that they don't exist. And that's why I just love your program.
Kind of a messy job. Hey, somebody's got to do it, right? I'm George Norrie. George Norrie on News Radio 1120 KPNW. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW. And we've got the local story in the morning wake-up call.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, the Lowell School Board may be soon considering changes to a district-wide ban that prohibits teachers from carrying firearms in classrooms. The director of Lowell's Mountain View Academy Charter School, Lori Cardwell, is expected to ask the board tonight to allow teachers to hold or who hold state concealed weapons permits be able to carry firearms at school. Cardwell had previously brought the proposal to the Lowell School District Superintendent Walt Hanline, who opposes having guns on campus. Cardwell is bringing the issue up again following last month's shooting at Umpqua Community College, where a gunman killed 9 people before turning the gun on himself. That is a no-gun campus, by the way. Hanline says there are better ways schools can improve classroom safety than arming teachers. He says the board will discuss different safety plans at Monday's meeting. Police and the State Fire Marshal's office are investigating a fire that razed On-One Bikes and Lion Mountain Bakery in Oak Ridge. The fire was first reported yesterday morning around 5 a.m. in the East 1st Street area of Oak Ridge. According to Oak Ridge Fire, no one was in the businesses at the time, fortunately, and it took nearly 2 hours to get those fires under control. Cost of the blaze estimated at around $500,000, including buildings and inventory. The cause of the blaze, currently unknown. The group Young Americans for Liberty is protesting the ban on concealed weapons at the University of Oregon. They held a poker tournament Friday night where a gun was the top prize. The group's co-president, Brandon Clements, says the school's student government refused to sponsor the event, and he thinks that was completely wrong.
The event involved guns, and they didn't like that. Their political opinions are not supposed to sway their decision to vote for funding.
The gun was donated by a local retailer who will run background checks on the winner before awarding the prize. The U of O issued a statement saying that student government can decline sponsorship for any event it doesn't deem appropriate, whatever that's supposed to mean. We'll have Brandon Clements on the wake-up call coming up in just a few minutes here on KPNW. Oregon State Police are looking for help in their investigation of a hit-and-run fatal on Highway 34 near Milepost 1, a little east of Corvallis. A 34-year-old pedestrian was struck by a vehicle around 10 a.m. Sunday. Evidence at the scene indicated the vehicle may have been a white Suzuki. The victim's name is not being released pending notification of the family. Anyone with information on the incident is encouraged to contact the Oregon State Police Northern Command Center. A 54-year-old woman who was killed when she was struck by a Lane County Sheriff's deputy Thursday night on Highway 99 just south of the Randy Pape Beltline has been identified. She is Kimberly K. Wyatt of Eugene. She was on a bicycle at the time. The deputy has been identified as Ed Lagrone. He was driving a Ford F-150 pickup, according to state police. Police also said that Wyatt was traveling north and riding on the left portion of the slow lane near the dotted line that divides the two lanes. That's when she was struck. She was wearing dark clothing. Her bicycle didn't have a rear light or rear reflector. She was declared dead at the scene.
On the heels of the Paris attacks, many people are feeling nervous about attending large events. The University of Oregon's public safety spokesperson, Kelly MacGyver, says they're wanting to work with the public, especially at Matt Knight Arena and Autzen Stadium on the U of O campus.
Have a little extra patience as we do our security protocols to try and make sure that those events are very safe. Might take a little extra time for people to get in the gates as bags are checked and things like that. We appreciate their patience, and the overall impact, I think, is having a really safe environment.
Obviously, the U of O generally hosts some of Eugene's and the Valley's largest events, be they football games or concerts at Mad Night. The FBI conducts background checks on immigrants who arrive in the U.S. That'll include Syrian refugees who are the focus of terrorism security concerns. Greg Bretzing, special agent in charge of the Portland's FBI office, says that they depend on immigrants to help because most of them have nothing to do with terrorism.
We work very closely with them so that they may be the very first ones to recognize something that's not right or someone who's not here for what the vast majority of them are here for.
Bretzing says Portland is as big a target as you can find and as vulnerable as any place. He says that to prevent an attack, they have to be right 100% of the time. Well, a Eugene woman is in jail after a fairly wild ride. 32-year-old Willow May is charged with Dewey, eluding police, reckless driving, and attempted assault. A Eugene man contacted police initially and reported that May was driving her Kia Rio station wagon in very rapid circles near 2nd and Madison, and then she just drove right into a car. The man followed her, and she drove straight at him, and he had to slam his vehicle in reverse to avoid being hit. Officers responded, and an officer located her at 5th and Madison and tried to stop her. That pursuit was quickly interrupted when May turned her car around and drove directly at the officer's vehicle at a high speed. That officer, who had a passenger rider, was able to maneuver out of the way. Then another officer in the area saw May crash into a curb. That's when he took the opportunity to forcibly stop May's vehicle at 4th, and May was subsequently arrested. She's currently enjoying lodging at the Lane County Jail. Forecasters say this season's El Nino is going to be the strongest ever recorded. Brad Ford reports that could be bad news for farmers.
An El Nino weather pattern normally means a drier and warmer winter for us. Tyree Wild with the National Weather Service hopes that's not the case.
It just can't be as bad as last year. Last year we were record low snowpacks, especially in the Oregon Cascades.
Hydrologist Scott Oviatt tells K2 News that could mean another year where reservoirs don't fill.
So we're going into this year with most reservoirs and streams being less than 30% statewide.
A dry winter would adversely affect farmers with crops that depend on natural rainfall. Could also affect farmers who depend on irrigation, and if there's a lack of snow, it could mean another tough year for ski resorts in the state. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
The first significant cold snap of the season is expected to arrive tonight and tomorrow in western Oregon.
We're just getting a cold front that's going to come down and bring down some Arctic air from western Canada, and just going to really cool our temperatures down behind the front for later this week. Going to see some snow getting down into the foothills and also into the higher elevations of the coast range.
Laurel McCoy with the National Weather Service says the cold air is expected to move across southwest Washington this afternoon and northwest Oregon tonight, where we could get a little bit of rain mixed with snow overnight, although the expectation is it's not going to stick. Fingers crossed on that. Below normal temperatures are expected to linger well into the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, with overnight lows dropping down to just about 20 degrees for several days, or make that several nights in a row. Well, the Food and Drug Administration has given a company called Aqua Bounty Technologies the green light to raise and sell genetically modified salmon for human consumption without special labeling.
I think people deserve to have the right to be able to look at something and decide whether they want to eat that themselves or feed it to their family.
Dr. David Noakes, program director at Oregon State University's Oregon Hatchery Research Center, says the aquaculture industry does not support the decision because it could be devastating to threaten wild salmon runs. The DNA of the fish is altered to make them grow bigger, faster than regular farm or wild salmon. If there was an accidental release of the altered fish, researchers believe that it could drive native runs to extinction. An anti-abortion group is trying to raise enough signatures to get an initiative on the 2016 ballot that would ban state-funded abortions, Brad Ford reports.
Oregon Life United has gathered nearly 1,500 signatures with hopes of getting the measure before voters. Jeff Jimerson with the group Life United says taxpayers should not be paying for the destruction of human life.
Today in Oregon, more than 40% of all abortions are funded by taxpayers.
Jimerson says data from the Oregon Health Authority shows 45,000 abortions have been paid for by Oregonians over the past 12 fiscal years.
We live in the only state in the country with 0 laws that restrict or limit abortions.
This is the third time that Oregon Life United is trying to get this measure on the ballot. They still need 115,000 more signatures to get there. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
All right, well, we have a report of hazardous debris on I-5 southbound. Both lanes are affected right around milepost 247. That is in the Salem area. Hazardous debris is causing delays in that area. That, again, we're not sure exactly what kind of debris it is. Obviously big enough to slow down traffic, and obviously bad enough that they call it hazardous. That's a milepost 247 throughout the, or in the Salem area. The Oregon Department of Consumer and Business Services, Division of Finance and Corporate Securities, announced its participation in a national settlement agreement between state mortgage regulators and Prospect Mortgage.
When you charge a fee, you need it, that the information about that fee needs to be disclosed, but also that fee needs to be reasonable in relation to the services that you're getting.
Spokesperson Jake Sunderland says the division estimates that about 650 Prospect Mortgage customers in Oregon are going to be eligible to receive restitution payments of $40 with interest of 10% a year as a result of the settlement. Wow, I'm sure the Lexus dealerships around the state are just bracing themselves for the influx of customers. And a Shed woman faces a mental evaluation after Lynn County Sheriff's deputies say she killed 6 of her neighbor's chickens near Shed. Under Sheriff Jim Yon describes what officers found when they arrived.
She had gone across the street and gotten into her neighbor's chicken coop, and she was making all kinds of funny sounds that freaked them out, so they called 911. By the time we had gotten there, she walked over with a knife and an axe, and she had sharpened a stake and was stabbing the chickens.
So the officers told the woman to get out of the coop and drop the weapon. Instead, she decided she was going to come at deputies with the sharpened stake that she'd been stabbing chickens with. That's when they dropped her with a taser. The case has been forwarded to a prosecutor for possible charges of trespass, animal abuse, and attempted assault on a public safety officer. It's 8:21. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oregon football team elevated 5 spots to number 18 after their 48-28 win over Southern Cal on Saturday. Oregon's quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. showed what he could do once again when he's healthy, throwing for 6 touchdowns to 6 different receivers, 407 yards. Oh, boy, he got some monster help from his offensive line.
Yeah, and then the old lineman gave me that extra time. I remember one time I was back there took a nap, and then, but that's not, saying anything bad about USC, but our old line just really stepping it up.
Civil War coming up on Friday. AP, a little shifting happening. Clemson still at number 1, but Bama now number 2. Iowa 3rd, Notre Dame 4th. Ohio State, of course, out of the Final Four after they lost to number 6 now, Michigan State. NFL last night, Carson Palmer had fun against his former team, throwing for 4 touchdowns against the Bengals. Arizona, boy, playing very well. One of the, probably the class of NFC possible. Final score 34-31. In Seattle, Thomas Rawls in place of Marshawn Lynch has a great game. 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. They need it. Hawks brand the Niners with another loss, 29-13. Bucs quarterback Jameis Winston tied a rookie record with 5 touchdown passes. Doug Martin galloped to 235 yards. Tampa Bay in Philly downs the Eagles 45-17. And the Ravens get by the Rams 16-13, but lose quarterback Joe Flacco for the rest of the year. Torn ACL. NBA Golden State 15-0 after handling the Nuggets 118-105, going for the record against the Lakers. Those same Lakers played the Blazers and got beat 107-93. Oregon men's basketball team 4-0. They beat Valparaiso 73-68. Dylan Brooks a career-high 26. And to soccer. First round of the Western Conference Finals in, I believe, in Portland, as they're going to Texas for the next one. Timbers all over FC Dallas 3-1. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your West Side neighborhood sports headquarters and pub at 824.
Your KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania,
where the side effect of saving like crazy may cause excessive high-fiving and a permanent smile.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, it is bone cold. Temps out there right now are in the upper 20s to low 30s. We did cross the freezing line last night. Now we've got patchy dense fog off and on across the valley, under partly cloudy skies and light winds out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we're looking at partly cloudy skies continuing across the region, becoming mostly cloudy in the evening with an approaching storm system. Now highs are only going to get into the upper 40s to low 50s out there, a high of 48. After 5 p.m. is 60 to 80% shot at showers, as well as maybe some winter mix overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Built for business. When you run a small business, your day doesn't end at 5. It ends when the job is done. Manage inventory, process orders, pay bills, check your website. Every day, the to-do list gets longer and longer. Comcast Business understands that. That's why they offer the no-glitch switch. It's the quick, easy way to improve your business's internet. Installation takes about an hour, and if they're not on time, you get a $20 credit. They offer appointments at night or on weekends, so it won't interfere with your business. And if you're not 100% satisfied, you have 30 days to get your money back. You don't have to put up with slow downloads or emails that won't send. Just remember the no-glitch switch from Comcast Business. And cross Switch to Better Internet off your to-do list. Make the no-glitch switch. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. 1 hour install applies to standard installation of one outlet. Money-back guarantee does not apply to Ethernet or hospitality services.
This is Brian Sutherland, owner of Amco in Springfield. Is your check engine light on? Is your car or truck not performing like it used to? Has your gas mileage dropped lately? We'll perform our exclusive Amco TransScan at no charge to you. That's a $50 value. And right now, our Power Purge transmission flush is only $99. That includes most cars and light trucks. Maintenance has never been more important, so trust your complete car care needs to Amco in Springfield. For hometown service, remember, AA MCO.
Weekend warriors only get 52 weekends a year, but the BMW X5 makes the most of any day. It has up to 76 cubic feet of cargo space with optional third-row seating for up to 7 passengers. An optional X-Drive self-leveling rear axle air suspension and active roll stabilization make unfavorable road conditions a drive in the park. Get your 52 and everything in between. The versatile BMW X5. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit BMW of Eugene for a $1,500 option credit on all 2016 X5s. Also online at bmwofeugene.com.
There is only one Orange Wednesday, and it's at Tannerite Sports Outlet. Black Friday, whatever. For one day, Tannerite's got 30% off all Tannerite-based inventory. Deals? Wolf Gold, 223 cases, just $329.99. Plus, grab a free PMAG 40 with each. 762x39 cases are just $229.99. Outrageous! Plus, the first 20 customers spend $100, get a free 2-pound exploding target, a $17.99 value. Get to the store, check out the Orange Wednesday flyer for more off-the-chain deals. Orange Wednesday, one day only. You want it, get it this Wednesday, and save big at Tannerite Sports Outlet across I-5 from LCC.
I came home from work and walked in the door. The kids built a snowman in the middle of the floor. The barn is shut down. Oh, that's just great. Good thing Priority One is open late.
Winter in the end of 2015 is just around the corner. Now's the time to call Priority One to get that new Carrier heat pump unit and save big. Get your rebates and tax credits before they ever gone.
Get manufacturer's rebates or receive up to $1,250 in state tax credits by calling Priority One now.
Priority One, heating.com. Keeping you in comfort, that's Priority One.
Anything but typical. Anything but cliche. Anything but routine.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. It is 8:28. Still have that problem. Southbound lanes, I-5, milepost 247 outside of Salem. Got debris in both lanes causing a major snag there. Well, if you've been listening to the news over the course of the last few days, Friday we first reported about this issue with the Young Americans for Liberty on the U of O campus. They wanted to do a campus poker tournament with a gun as a prize and actually get some funding for publicity and so on and so forth from the student body there. And then there was an issue of the actual authorities over the U of O pulling down some of their advertising flyers. To talk about that this morning, it is joining us on the Wake Up Call, Brandon Clements. He is the co-president of the University of Oregon branch of the Young Americans for Liberty, and he's also the state chair, and he joins us on the Wake Up Call. Brandon, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. Are you there? There we are. Our pleasure to have you on the show. All right, so just so people know, the poker tournament did happen. And did that happen on campus Friday night?
Yes, the poker tournament still happened on campus in the ballroom on Friday.
And how many people showed?
We had well over 100 attendees.
Okay, and so somebody actually won the tournament, and they picked up the gun. Can you mention the winner's name, or is that something you'd rather not do?
I'd prefer not to, but we actually had 3 firearms donated and 3 winners.
Okay, and if you want to throw a shout out to the local area gun store that made the donation, if you want to, you can.
Yeah, I'd love to. It was Mazama Sporting Goods donated a handgun and a really nice brand new rifle, and Oak Grove Guns also donated a new handgun.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about the controversy itself. The way that I understand this is that your group, Young Americans for Liberty, we're doing this to kind of make a little bit of a point. So talk about that.
Well, we were really hoping to start a campus-wide discussion on the University of Oregon student conduct policy against concealed carrying any sort of firearm on campus. Mm-hmm. And I really think it was successful in that way because the discussion has clearly been started, whether through controversy or through the event itself.
Right. And the beginning of the controversy was that you as a group, you were allowed to ask, my understanding is, you're able to ask the Student Senate to actually give you money to promote events. Is that true or not?
Yes, several groups, and we're ASUO recognized by the student government. We went through that process. And once you're allowed to ask them for some of your incidental fees that every student has to pay into. Mm-hmm. And through a lot of Supreme Court precedents and court cases, the student government has to remain viewpoint neutral. Essentially, they're not allowed to have their political opinions sway their decisions, and they're allowed to decide, or they're forced to decide, really, based on the request itself, how it will help the campus, pretty much.
Okay. And so when they denied you the funds, what was the official party line as to why those funds were denied?
They denied it because they were worried that it would make students unsafe or feel uncomfortable having the events on campus.
So what exactly does that mean, feeling uncomfortable? Because there are a number of things. I mean, let's be honest here. There's an infinite amount of things that people could feel uncomfortable about. Like, for instance, if you were holding some sort of march for transgender students, I mean, there's plenty of folks out there that find that to be uncomfortable. So what is their standard of comfort and discomfort?
Yeah, it was really a shock for me. I really think it ends up being whatever they don't politically agree with, they're going to argue against. And we spent almost 2 hours the first time we were at the Senate meeting really being attacked for our political beliefs, and they still voted no. And the issue of the request was really never brought up. It was only ever a conversation on guns. Okay.
And then when your flyers on campus started disappearing, correct?
Well, actually, I was never allowed to put them up in the first place. I sent in a request because you have to go through the housing office to have them put up in all of the dorm spaces and the eating areas. Mm-hmm. and I was told they weren't allowed to go up because there's a small image of a gun on there, just showing the prizes. And I emailed back offering to remove the gun and any mention of guns, and I was still denied because the event itself involved guns.
And how is that a violation of some sort of official policy?
There is no real specific guidelines on what they will or will not accept, but pretty much I was told guns are not allowed on campus, and this event is promoting guns, so it's going to promote the act of bringing guns on campus somehow.
Okay, then how is it, if they wouldn't let you put flyers up for the event, how is it that they actually allowed you to hold that event on the campus?
You know, I'm not really sure. I'm really glad. Luckily, international organization, Students for Liberty, stepped in when we lost our funding, and they were able to secure us the reservation for the space. And I think once we had that and it was paid for, they were worried about trying to shut it down.
All right, so, you know, what's next? I mean, you've had the event, you've given away the guns. I mean, what's next for you? Because, I mean, are you going back to the student council and saying, look, you owe us some coin, bro?
Yeah, we tried to go back there last Wednesday again, and then they kind of pulled the cop out. Luckily, the Students for Liberty, they came in the next day once we were first denied, and they said, you know, don't worry about it, we'll cover you. This is a donation for you guys. We want to make sure the event goes on. But we wanted to try to pay them back, so we went back to the Student Senate, and then they denied us again.
So I
think that road may be done.
Okay, so talk about a little bit about the group FIRE that was brought into this.
Yeah, so FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education, is really the boss when it comes to viewpoint neutrality and a lot of First Amendment issues on campuses across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
They'll really help out. They'll help out any group or person who feels like they've personally been violated in their rights.
All right, and so what are they doing at this point?
So I haven't been in great contact with them, but I know they sent a letter to President Schill and the administration last Wednesday discussing the issues of viewpoint neutrality, which were betrayed by the Senate, and then also not being able to put flyers up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if they ever heard a response back, but I know they also sent a press release about this and the event on Friday.
So is this group a group that looks for, if push comes to shove, looks for some sort of legal remedies to things like this?
I think in drastic measures they will, but they really try to resolve these issues through more peaceful means.
All right. Brandon, just out of curiosity, does your group have any other events kind of like this planned?
No poker nights coming up, but I'm sure we'll have one again next year. But we do have an open forum on the gun policy coming up here in a few weeks.
All right, and tell people a little bit about your group and what it is that you stand for, and you know why your group exists. It's called, again, Young Americans for Liberty. Give them an idea what it is that is your viewpoint.
Yeah, so Young Americans for Liberty is a nonprofit libertarian organization on campuses across the country, and we aim to educate, identify, mobilize, and train youth activists in libertarian ideas, and we're really committed to winning on principle. And essentially, we just try to get the word out there about ideas and educate people on their rights.
You must feel like you're living in occupied territory at the University of Oregon.
It can be rough sometimes.
So how much, I mean, do you get any harassment from the student body otherwise? I mean, outside of the issues with the poker tournament, I mean, do you find yourself being harassed at all by, you know, students who don't agree with you or professors that don't agree with your viewpoints?
I've definitely gotten into some arguments with professors, but I think students, for the most part, tend to be open-minded if you talk to them, if you find the issue that they're specific to.
Interesting. How many members?
Right now, we can usually pull in about 18 to 20 people if we have a meeting.
And how are you? What are you doing to try and grow the organization? Because that's really not a lot of folks.
No, we're really focusing more on events this year and like kind of pulling away from meetings. Mm-hmm. So we had well over 100 people at the poker night, and we've hosted other events where we'll get 60 to 80 people coming out to that and having really great conversations.
All right. Well, Brandon, we appreciate you joining us on the Wake Up Call. If there's any new developments, please let us know, and good luck to you for the rest of the school year.
Definitely. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Brandon Clements joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. He is the co-president and state chair of Young Americans for Liberty, and the discussion, of course, about that poker tournament that got everybody in a knot over on the University of Oregon campus because some of the prizes were guns. It's 8:39, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
It's your money. And this is your Wake Up Call Market Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are gaining as oil moves higher. Saudi Arabia repeated that it is ready to work with other producers to stabilize global markets, which is giving a lift to crude. Crude trading above $42 a barrel. It is a deal that is unprecedented on many levels. Pfizer and Allergan will combine in a deal worth more than $160 billion. It is the largest acquisition so far this year and the biggest ever in the pharmaceutical world, eclipsing Pfizer's purchase of Warner Lambert in 2000. Pfizer makes medications including Viagra, pain drug Lyrica, and Allergan produces Botox. United Continental has reached a proposed 2-year contract extension with its pilots union. The Airline Pilots Association didn't give specifics of the deal, but does say the union's members expect industry-leading compensation, among other improvements. Fox will stop issuing ratings based on how many people watch its shows live or soon after they air, saying the measure is no longer relevant because so many viewers catch up later. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg.
It's a Black Friday celebration at Oak Grove Guns. This Black Friday and only while supplies last. The Sig Sauer Mosquito lists $375 on Friday, $250. The Taurus Judge Revolver handling both 45 caliber and .410 loads, regularly $450 on sale for $375. Plus, purchase a 22 long firearm and you'll get 500 rounds of 22 long ammo for free. It's a Black Friday celebration sale at Oak Grove Guns in Santa Clara Square, proud to supply products to responsible gun owners.
For over 35 holidays, Sherry's has been making award-winning pies for Northwest families. Wrapped in their red and green boxes, Sherry's pies put a delicious exclamation point on your family's holiday meals. Because memorable holiday feasts get that way with freshly baked berry and pumpkin pies. They're also a great way to take folks' minds off the boss's flashing red tie at your office party. Sherry's Cafe and Pies. Order your holiday pies at sherrys.com and take Sherry's pies home for the holidays.
Your plan is to make the most out of life. That's why your plan is a Medicare Advantage plan from Pacific Source. It lets you choose from almost any doctor in the region with no deductible. Plus, you get great benefits like prescription drug coverage, protection when you travel, optional dental care, and even discounts on gym memberships. Plans start as low as $39. Pacific Source Medicare, the health plan for all of life's biggest plans. To learn more about our Medicare Advantage plans, call toll-free 888-863-3637, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Visit us online at www.medicare.pacificsource.com. Premium and benefits may change on January 1st of each year. You must continue to pay your Medicare Part B premium. The provider network may change at any time. Members will receive notice when necessary. Pacific Source Community Health Plans is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Pacific Source Medicare depends on contract renewal.
Hi, I'm Elaine, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale College President Larry Arnn on the importance of the presidential oath of office.
Members of Congress and federal judges take an oath to the Constitution. But the Constitution prescribes the exact words of the oath only for the president. The American presidency was a new and powerful office created at the Constitutional Convention of 1787. Nothing like it existed in any other constitution in history. It was designed to allow certain virtues, decision, activity, secrecy, dispatch, things like that. And they were thought to be essential to executive power, especially in a crisis. But despite this immense power, the president is not so powerful as the Constitution itself. That is why presidents must pledge to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, and why it is the duty of the people to ensure that they do so.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania in Albany, Eugene, Springfield, and Corvallis. Save like crazy.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, it is cold. Temps right now in the upper 20s to low 30s. We did cross the freezing line last night. Now we've got patchy dense fog off and on across the valley, as well as partly cloudy skies. And we've got light winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, highs will only climb into the mid to upper 40s out there with a high of 48 here in town. Partly cloudy skies in the afternoon become mostly cloudy this evening as a strong storm system and an Arctic cold front start to move into the area. We're going to see a 90% shot at showers after 8 p.m. Some of that could become a wintry mix into the early morning hours of tomorrow, but not expecting any real accumulation along the valley floor. The passes, though, are looking anywhere between 6 to 12 inches, so be cautious if you've got holiday travels ahead. Storm system pulls out, but it's going to be very cold as we approach Thanksgiving. The high on Thanksgiving looks to be 39. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call.
News Radio 1120 KPNW.
8:44 remaining moments of a Monday go-around with the Wake Up Call. 1120 KPNW with Jerry Jesfold from Serenity Lane checking in with the crew here, and great to have you back on.
Good morning, Rob and Bill. I'm always glad to be on your show.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you here. So, are you going to be tying one on for the holidays?
Oh, you betcha. Absolutely.
Yeah? Yeah?
Lots of turkey. Not the other stuff. I'm going to stay away from the other stuff.
Okay.
That's probably not a good idea for me.
How do you prepare the turkey? Do you brine?
I don't do it. Anything. My wife.
Oh.
She's the cook.
So it comes out good. Does she smoke it?
No. We just cook it in the oven, but it's always good.
I stopped smoking turkeys because they're so hard to roll in the paper.
Wow, you are weird, Bill.
You slay me. Anyway, so we want to talk about, drugs. And we were talking about this in 2010. The U.S. spent $500 per second.
A second.
On the war on drugs.
Yeah. How's that worked for you? It probably hasn't worked very well.
Yeah,
I think most people have come to the conclusion that the true war on drugs has been a dismal failure.
Yeah. Why?
Well, I think there's an element of that the folks don't understand. What we call normies, those of us in recovery, is the pleasure that comes from the use of drugs for some people. And again, I've said this, I think, on your show before, but when something feels so good, how can it be bad for you? And so you disconnect the logical thinking of what comes with that for some people and how their brain biochemistry changes, and followed behind that is the behavioral changes.
So if you were to wear the King for a Day hat, what would you do? What would you put in place that would work and be effective?
Well, I wrote an article on it a few years ago, and I really came up with 3 things, and probably there should be 4. But number 1, education and prevention. We do a fairly good job on that, but again, when young people are hearing how bad drugs are, and then they sometimes go out and try them, they say, wow, they told me a lie. We've mentioned on your show before that the biggest joke was reefer madness, that was made, I think, back in the 30s, and how that was misleading in a lot of ways. So education, prevention, number 1. Number 2, treatment, and not treatment, with open-ended in terms of there being treatment forever. You got to have some accountability behind that treatment, which brings up the third, leg of the stool, and that would be harm reduction. I think that's probably the one that gets the most resistance, but if people are not going to get off of drugs, then give them the drugs, or let them.
So you're saying, like, for instance, if I'm hooked on meth, that I should be able to go down to the local meth shop and grab a rock?
Well, the second part of that, Bill, is that we need to contain those people that are going to, go ahead and continue to use, and that probably is, going to create some resistance from, some groups.
When you say contain, what do you mean? I mean, you hold.
Well, we incarcerate.
Keep them in a meth house.
No, incarcerate. Not that incarceration would be the place that you'd put them, but by the same token, you'd put them in a place where they can limit the harm they do to the rest of the society. That's what ticks people off is when their cars are broken into and their houses are robbed, and rightfully so.
Well, who's going to pay for that?
Well, we're paying pay me now, pay me later. We're paying as it goes right now. I mean, we're spending a lot of money on, law enforcement. And by the way, I think law enforcement has a place. We have, on the war on drugs, we have overemphasized, and I think the incarceration of minor pot traffickers is a good example of that, marijuana traffickers, and, for long periods of time, or go back to the mid-'80s, when if you were in possession of 30 grams of cocaine, you were seen as a trafficker, and if you got convicted of that felony, you went to prison for the rest of your life with no chance of parole. There were federal judges that said, I can't do this. You get somebody that comes before you in your chambers, and they have absolutely no criminal history. They weren't involved in any kind of violence, and they were in possession of 34 or 35 grams of cocaine, and they're convicted. See ya for the rest of your life. There were federal judges that said, I can't do this. And so we've kind of come back to our senses. But again, I think it's a legislative approach that we're going to fix this. And
so if you're going to take these people and you're going to put them in their meth bin or wherever it is, so are you just going to keep them there the rest of their life until they OD, feeding them methamphetamines, and until,
Bill, it's happening every day on the streets.
So what you're saying is, yes, you're in favor of putting them in the meth bin and just feeding them meth until they essentially, their teeth rot out and they die?
Well, or hopefully come to their senses and say, this isn't for me. I'm saying that that's the leg on the stool that's obviously the most controversial, by no means about it. I mean, I'm not trying to defend it, but we got it going on now. We've done a pretty good job with, the opiate heroin addicts and having needle exchanges and things like that. So there are ways that we could do it, and I'm not suggesting that I've got all the answers, but we've got a whole lot of people out there that are using drugs and bringing harm to others, and how do we deal with that,
Terry Jesfold from Serenity Lane on with the Wake Up Call, and then, you talk about this whole war on drugs thing. A big hairy wrench gets thrown into the Porsche engine with the legalizing of pot. I mean, what is that? Yeah. What is that going to do? How is that going to complicate things?
Well, it's going to just increase the problem. I just spoke at a conference in Ashland a couple of Saturdays ago. It's the Oregon Counseling Association, and these are clinicians, licensed clinicians, and several of them were telling me that they're already starting to see the evidence of what some of the hash oil is doing to adolescents. They're seeing 15 and 16, 17-year-olds that are showing signs of schizophrenia that's triggered by their use of hash oil.
As I recall, though, hash oil wasn't legalized, was it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, butane honey oil. It's something that is not illegal. It contains THC, somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 95% THC. And that's going to be that's going to create some serious problems.
So they're seeing it in how young?
15, 14.
And what is the percentage of 14, 15, let's say junior high school kids that have actually at least once tried booze or pot or drugs?
Booze, you're talking, 8th and 11th graders, Bill, are more likely to use marijuana than they are tobacco.
Okay, and what's the percentage?
You're looking at probably 10% in junior high school, and that'll probably go up to 15 or so percent, 20% possibly in high school. And the reason that it's going to probably increase is because of the stamp of approval that has been put on the drug in the state of Oregon.
So then what I'm hearing here is that these education programs that we've been talking about really aren't doing that much good.
The studies that were done on DARE, have you seen those? The kids that went through DARE, and that was the law enforcement program that was to try to encourage, young people to avoid drugs. You got them at, 10, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11, 12, and they're saying no to drugs. In fact, parents talked about, you can have a cocktail at night, and your son or daughter comes home from a DARE presentation, and they think their mom and dad are alcoholics. So it was a pretty sensitive program. What the studies have shown is the numbers of people that have gone ahead and used drugs as they got into their teenage years are no different than the ones that didn't go through. Now, does that mean we don't do DARE? I don't know, but I think it's not proven to be the answer. Nancy Reagan and her program of Just Say No. When that came out, those of us that were in recovery kind of, we scoffed at it because you don't just say no when you're using something that gives you pleasure. And that's the piece that exists for some of the kids, but not all of them. And some of the kids, I think that's another important point to be made, is that there are some kids out there that are making great decisions. Right. And so we're not, but the other side of that, it's just like when I go in and work with a company, you got a small percentage of your employees or a small percentage of your adolescents that are creating, severe issues for young people.
2010 it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
What do you know? $500 per second back then. What do you know what it is today?
I don't directly, Rob, but it's a lot of money. We're talking billions of dollars. And I think the mistake is thinking that we can eradicate. Look what the traffickers have done out of Mexico and South America. They've gone from, strapping drugs to the bodies of people coming through, airports and such, so that when they got caught, what did they do? They started cutting, my understanding is, fingers off the surgical gloves and filling those with heroin and tying them up and having the mules swallow them. And you better hope none of them break, because if you do, you're going to die of an OD. But they give a peasant down there $2,500 to do that and to feed their family. They go ahead and do that. Or now, I'm sure you've seen. In fact, I think there was one just found out the other day. They use submarines. So they actually build submarines to bring drugs into the United States to try to prevent being seen or noticed. So it's an issue. I've always said that the solution to the problem that we have is to reduce demand. If we can reduce demand, supply will be reduced with it.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. You look at, I remember years ago I was working with some Fred Meyers in Portland, and there was a guy that was in one of my trainings that was in one of the jewelry stores of Fred Meyers, and he says, how do you tell a kid 16 years of age that comes in and buys a $2,500 necklace or bracelet or watch and pulls a wad of cash out of his pocket and pays cash for it? And, I can tell you this, that we've had people in our program over the years that their biggest dilemma is whether or not to go out and score another deal to pay for their treatment. One more deal.
Wow.
Yeah, you're talking big money. You're not talking chump change. And like they'll tell you in the big cities, the metropolitan cities, you arrest some of these young people for their drug trafficking, or adults for that matter, you get somebody right behind them to take their place. So we are. This problem isn't going away in our lifetime. It hasn't in eons past. What we can do is some of these things to try to reduce the risk, to try to prevent. Parents, and I know there's some parents out there listening, and I know they don't like to talk to their kids about drugs, but I think it's an important conversation to have. It's just as important as any other, that we find that are necessary.
And that's we'll leave it at this point. SerenityLane.org if you want to check out the website.
Great place to go.
Yeah, and the blogs on there as well, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey,
yep.
Jerry, thanks for the chat.
You guys too, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving to you and 15 listeners?
Yeah, 15.
We're working on it.
All
you too, 15. Sir. Have a great turkey day.
Take care,
that's it for us. We got to run. See you tomorrow, 6:05.
When you consider a gift to the Eugene mission this holiday season, you're considering a gift for all of Eugene Springfield. That's because the Eugene mission is the area's only wellness center for the homeless, treating the causes of homelessness, not just the symptoms. And when those we serve get well, Eugene Springfield gets well. Give to the Eugene Mission and give rise to hope. Give today at eugenemission.org. The Eugene Mission. Hope. Rising.
Looking for a new utility vehicle experience? Now during the Power to Do Great Things sales event, get a Kubota RTV-X, the best-selling diesel utility vehicle in the industry. They've earned their place by being durable and reliable. Now get a new RTV-X series for 0 down and 0% APR financing for 4 years. And for a limited time, get great customer instant rebates. Now through December 31st, 2015, call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. See Mid-Valley Tractor, locally owned for 30 years, just a mile and a half past the Beltline on Highway 99.
Northwest Alternative Health Eugene's premier medical marijuana clinic has a new location. Yes, we've moved to 1675 West 11th Suite B on the corner of 11th and Chambers. Having a medical marijuana card gives you exclusive access to medicine otherwise not available for recreational users, lower prices at the dispensaries, and higher limits for possession and growing. To get your card, drop by our new location or give us a call at 888-920-6076 or visit us online at ommmpcard.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Stone from Pressure Point Roofing. The bulk of Pressure Point's business is installing a variety of new roofs on new and existing homes and buildings. But that's not all we do. We field a lot of phone calls from customers for inspections and repairs. Often we repair leaks, fix flashing details, clean gutters, and install new skylights and solar tubes. If you have work to be done to your roof, Pressure Point is the GAF certified master elite contractor to call. So for peace of mind, start at the top. Pressure Point Roofing.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. The British Prime Minister putting Parliament on notice he will ask for Britain to do more in the fight against ISIS. Fox News Radio's Simon Owen live in London.
Lisa, David Cameron backing a decision by French President Francois Hollande to escalate French airstrikes on ISIS targets following the attacks in Paris.
It is absolutely right to take decisive action to stop terrorists when they are threatening the lives of innocent citizens.
Cameron saying he'll ask British lawmakers later this week to support launching British airstrikes in Syria. Right now, the UK only targets sites in Iraq. 2 years ago, Cameron asked Parliament to back airstrikes against the Syrian government, but Parliament on that occasion said no. Lisa?
Thanks, Simon. Hitting ISIS in the wallet, U.S. fighter jets destroying nearly 300 ISIS oil trucks in eastern Syria Saturday. They dropped leaflets first to help avoid civilian casualties. Belgium's capital remains on lockdown as terror raids continue. 21 people detained so far after a credible threat of a possible Paris-style attack. 3 suspects in custody for the murder of a pastor's pregnant wife 2 weeks ago in Indianapolis. Fox News Radio's Jeff Manasso live in our Midwest Bureau.
28-year-old Amanda Blackburn was sexually assaulted and then shot in the head 2 weeks ago during a home burglary. And police say in Indianapolis, they announced an arrest of 18-year-old Larry Taylor, who police say is expected to be charged alongside 2 other apparent accomplices who called themselves the Kill Gang, wanted in other recent burglaries and at least 1 other rape case. Amanda's husband, Pastor Davey Blackburn, says he's ready to forgive those responsible for the murder of his wife and unborn child. Though the charges they face in Indiana puts the death penalty on the table. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. Wall Street right now, the Dow up 9 points. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Do you have a retirement account? Is it likely to go up 60% or down 60%? Wake up. Low interest rates support the market, and it won't last forever. It's time to hedge with solid gold. You will regret not doing so in the next market crash. Do it right. Don't pay a setup and storage fee. Discover how. Call Goldworth. Request the IRA guide free. Call 800-257-GOLD. 800-257-GOLD. Visit goldworth.com.
This announcement is for all people who want to look their best this holiday season using clinically proven Power Swabs. Power Swabs whitens teeth with a patented tooth detergent and whitening agent. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes and guarantee your friends and family will be amazed when they see your new white smile this holiday. Get it risk-free. Dial 1-800-663-1510. That's 1-800-663-1510. 1-800-663-1510.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles,
here's David Gascon.
Up and down we go on the injury report for the National Football League. Ravens lose their starting quarterback and tailback for the season. Joe Flacco tore his ACL, and running back Justin Forsett broke both bones in his right forearm. Marshawn Lynch's season is in jeopardy. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported that there's a feeling Lynch has a sports hernia that will require surgery. Beast Mode is in Philadelphia today to see a specialist. Sam Bradford, who is recovering from a concussion and shoulder injury, has returned to practice for the Eagles. His teammate Ryan Matthews, who also sustained a concussion, is not back on the field just yet. In college football, Syracuse has dismissed football coach Scott Schaefer. His final game will be against Boston College. Dave Roberts has agreed on a 3-year deal to become the new manager of the L.A. Dodgers.
When you think fishing or firearms, think Mazama.
Local family-owned Mazama is your fishing headquarters with brands like G. Loomis, St. Croix, Shimano, Daiwa, and a variety of locally made products tailor-made for this region. Team Mazama is eager and knowledgeable.
Plus, they offer layaway on firearms and fishing gear.
Pick up your hunting and fishing license while you're there. Conveniently located on West 11th in the same parking lot as Lowe's. Get to Mazama and get hooked on the good life. When you think fishing or firearms, think Mazama.
This is a referral service. Calls will be routed to an independent referral insurance agency.
Do you know the #1 cause of bankruptcy? No, it's not losing your job or running up credit card debt. It's not even divorce. It's medical costs. If you and your family don't have health insurance, just one serious illness or accident could be financially devastating. But now there's good news, really good news. A health insurance hotline has been established to provide health insurance for all Americans, even uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions. Now anyone can get health insurance even if you have a pre-existing medical condition. I repeat, now anyone can get health insurance coverage. Call now for a free no-obligation quote on affordable health plans available to you. Again, this is a free hotline for anyone, even if you have pre-existing conditions.